Yes, guys, you know what time is it? It's your boys David and Jack at the Irish Hotspur back again. This time a little bit different. I know you guys are sick of listening to our opinions on the game, but as you know, we like to bring you guys along the journey with us and try and include you into everything we do as much as we can. So we are back here with a post-match fan show after another diabolical mistake, which ends up costing us the game. A lot to get to. There's actually a lot of positives to talk about, but also, there's a lot of negatives to talk about. It's a weird one, Jack. I feel a bit deflated. I'll be honest. Deflated is the word.
If there's a word for more than deflated, Dave, I mean, if that became the new word, it felt like a halftime. That was the word, deflated, especially after that 2-0. After the goal Dyer gave up, we all thought that was the word, deflated. I'm searching for a word after that. What's worse than deflated? What's something more deflated than deflated, Dave? It really feels that way because we also find ourselves where in the second half, yet again, made a good effort at it, and we made a very decent effort at concentrating on goal, trying to make it hard for Liverpool getting back into the game, and we find ourselves in a position where it's impossible to come back from 2-0 down. And you sort of look at it, it's like if we really only were 1-0 down, how would the game have really gone if Moon Boots hadn't made that error? Because I think we can all maybe accept that we probably were going to concede to Liverpool at some stage. It is more in our nature, but the manner in which it was done today certainly was a surprise and certainly was a letdown. And, I wish there was a word that was harder than deflation, Dave, because that's what I'm searching for.
Yeah. So do I, Jack. I mean, it's the same old shit. And hopefully now people understand. Them people that maybe gave me grief when I highlighted certain individuals, hopefully now they understand why I've done it. Because I did say in the biggest games, this is where it's going to hurt us the most. And for me, I'm at the point now, Jack, get them gone. Don't even want them as a backup. Between January and summer, you have 2 transfer windows. Get them out of here and get in guys that can handle the big occasions because they're holding the club back at this stage. How can you put in a performance the way we, especially in the second half, and come away with absolutely nothing? And yeah, we can sit here, we can blame the missed chances, this, that, and the other. But you can't keep asking us to go and score 2-3 goals in 45 minutes of football every single week. You just can't keep expecting that from the front guys. We barely keep clean sheets. It's becoming a real problem, and we have to get it sorted. But look, we're going to just kick on. We're going to welcome some people in, and then we're going to crack on and get the guests in here. Wisdom, big up. Good to see you, my man. He says big up, Bob. Good to see you, Wisdom Wolf. Coy's in the house. He says big up, everyone. Imagine in England in the World Cup with Dyer and Maguire as their centre-backs. They're coming home early. They just are.
That makes me smile a lot right now.
Yeah. I was only saying to Jack after the game, I bet you the Iran manager sitting there saying, please pick Dyer. Please pick Dyer. You just stick, what's his name? Yaha Kambush or whatever you call him, on him. Just running behind him all day. You know what I mean? The guy that used to play for Brighton. Yeah. Chris says, so sick of these half of performances. 2 players that want gone, Emerson and Dyer, both huge liabilities. Look, Emerson is undefendable today. Undefendable. He was poor. Tom Hillier says, was that the game? Good energy from the fans. However, Emerson played backwards. Royale does my head in. Need him out of this squad ASAP and a replacement for the human error himself. Dyer, he says he showed hope with the couple of goals at the start of the season, but the man jumps at his own shadow. Spot on, Spursy. Spurs says we should have had 3 pens. Another thing that maybe, VAR fucked us over yet again. I mean, people have put the Cancelo call and Sessions today both above each other, and you watch both of them, they're identical more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, it baffles me, absolutely baffles me. Kev Williams says Dyer, like Sanchez and Davies, will cost us again and again. Couldn't agree more, Kev. Dermatron says, I am so fed up with the same old dumpties making the same old mistakes again. And as for VAR, that needs to be a major overhaul of how it is used and who uses it. Absolutely spot on. Brought in by corrupt people, and you're seeing corrupt decisions. Direct Coach just says, why the fuck are we talking to Dyer about a new contract?
Hopefully not anymore. Hopefully
He'll probably be announced this week just to piss us off. Stevie Fraser says we deserved more, actually played it better than I thought we would, but Dyer cost us 2 goals. That's that. Absolutely spot on. Well summed up, Stevie. There's not more you can really say. Zoe says, thought we played okay, but really upset with the outcome. I backed Dyer for a while, but he's regressed again.
Good to see you,
Look,
Zoe.
100%, and I get it. Like when I talk about these players, I don't hate them as human beings. I think yeah, they're good human beings, but that should be the basics of any professional that's played big money. You know, I expect that. I think that's a demand. I think, but what you want is players that can also stand up in big moments and just not make stupid, lazy, dumb errors. I
Mm,
mean, it's
mm,
honestly four Spurs players around them, one player in a red jersey. You just heads it to him. I mean, it's
yeah.
just absolutely unbelievable, Zoe. And the thing is, these guys are nice guys. You just got to call a spade a spade. If we want to progress, they've got to go.
I'm
They've
just
got.
I think another thing, Zoe, is like even if anybody who's, I think even I have found myself defending Dyer at one stage this season, especially in the beginning of the season, I think I was. But I've come victim, I think, to realizing that this guy really, I do believe, does capitulate around this October time period. And he's kind of done it and carried it on through here. He did it under Jose in the past, did it under Nuno before, and he's now done it under Conte. It's now 3 seasons in a row, I believe, where he has had a pretty atrocious run of games during this same run of time. And it's also during kind of like the same number of games played. Like once you get to this amount of games played, sort of reaches a weird expiry, when it comes to his form and when it comes to his confidence, even. It's sad to say, but it seems to be coming true here. Big
But
up,
here's the
Zoe, though.
thing,
It's good to
Jack.
see you.
This is the problem, man. Look, people in the club fall victim to it as well. It's like we ignore the facts, which is players under Conte. We know it's physically and mentally demanding, and players will struggle to keep up with it. You will always see an instant improvement with managers when they come in the door, like we see with Nuno, like we see with Jose. But can they keep that intensity up? No. We've had ex-Inter Milan players come out and say it's very hard to do. Those who have not shown it previous will struggle under a Conte regime. And
Mm,
we've ignored the facts and gone with our hearts. And it's like, oh, he's a good guy. He tries to do the right thing. Brilliant. But at the end of the day, he's just not good enough. We got to start dealing with the facts rather than go with what we want or what we wish for. You've just got to start dealing with the facts. And look, I'm telling you, look, these guys are holding the club back there, holding it back in terms for the owners, which, look, again, the owners are a problem because they haven't upgraded in that area, and they should have. But, if we had a better backline who could defend and were better on the ball, we'd see much more improved on the Hotspur.
mm,
Everybody would be happy. We'd be challenging for absolutely everything.
yeah, I
Which
agree
would
there.
take pressures off the owners, which would take pressure off every manager that walks in the door, which takes the pressure off Kane and Son and everything else. So it's imperative at this stage we upgrade this back line. I'm being drawn into it again by going at these guys. I'm being drawn into it. I'm gonna stop. But look, I've welcomed everybody in. King Hodler's in here as well. Good to see you. Spursy Spurs, great to see you. Spurs 89. Says Dyer's not good
Big up
enough.
Spurs
Defense
89.
not good enough. Good to see you in the building. Couldn't agree more. And we've got Sundar Man says Conte fucked up when he played Emerson and a couple of others in the starting 11. Do you know what? Just quickly, this is something I want to have a say on. Just quick, I can't help myself. I really can't. Mark says Dyer has lost us 9 points so far this season. Imagine if he would cost us for the rest of the season. Spot on. But on this,
Good to see Phil
like,
as well and Stevie Fraser. Good to see Phil
yes,
and Stevie Fraser.
great to see Stevie Fraser and Phil. We, I don't look. Someone explain to me whether it's someone in the back end that's coming on and having to say or someone in the comments, because maybe I'm just not seeing it correctly. But what exactly are we blaming Conte for today? Now, when I look at it, you go into this game, you're missing Son, Richarlison, Kulu Sexy. We've been told he'd be back for the last 3-4 games. Rocks up today. Clearly not 100% fit to start. Neither was Lucas Moura because we were told that in the press conference. Missing Romero. Can't play Sanchez because he's an absolute liability. He went with Emerson because Emerson changed the game against Marseille. So he
Yeah,
stuck with faith in the guy, and then he puts in that today.
that's
Like, you
true.
can't, like, Conte done the best with the hand he was dealt going into this game. He even put Perisic up front with Kane, which I thought worked. I thought Perisic had a very good game today. And it's just like, I struggle to see where we're blaming Conte for this. If Dyer didn't make the mistakes he made, then you can argue first one was his fault too. I mean, we would have won the game today. We would have at least got out with a point. Just maybe try and make me understand it, because maybe I've just been so much in the zone today, I'm missing something.
Just don't even think. I think where you're coming from, Dave, is that it just didn't look as dreadful of a performance either, like that maybe other ones were with the 3-5-2. The 3-5-2 for me didn't even look as awful as it did, in other occasions. I actually thought, the midfielders actually had a good dispel today. They, were going forward. I don't know. And we definitely created things in the first half, certainly. But yeah, we'll get to what people have to say in the fan show and see what they have to say.
A Footy Clips Daily says, apart from the mistake, I think Dyer actually done okay overall. Across the whole game, he was better attacking down the right than Real. But see, this is the problem. And I've said this about the guys. And at this level, it only takes one moment and the game's over. And that's what happened today. One moment. You could go and play well for 90, 89 minutes. But it's that 1 minute that can cost you at this level. And that's why you need to be on it time and time again. And we can't fall victim to this. He went on and had a good second half. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he did do more down the right-hand side than what Emerson did all game. But he cost us the game.
Yeah.
So when you cost us the game, I actually expect you do everything about you to try and claw back. I expect that. But let's not fall victim to it. We pay this guy to keep the ball out of the back of the net. We pay this guy to defend. And he's incapable.
Wasn't anyone else that headed it. No one else headed it to Salah. It wasn't Emerson or Sessegnon that headed it to Salah. It wasn't Davies that headed it to Salah. It was Dyer, and there was no one else. No matter how atrocious maybe even anyone else played on the pitch, there was someone that deliberately gave the team a goal. And there's just no other way to go about it than that. He cost us. Can't fall into that trap.
Cannot fall in, because that's what he wants. He's going to sit there in the dressing room going, oh, you know what? I think I made up for that. I had a good second half. It's like, well, you are a centre back and you kind of just gift wrap them.
Unless you scored a brace that's the only way you make up.
Because that's going to be the narrative. People are going to feel sorry for Dyer and go, oh, but he had a good second half. He tried to make up for it. Too late. At that point, you already cost us. How about trying this? How about not costing us and just playing like that from the very beginning? And then we wouldn't be sitting here talking about Eric Dyer. How about that? Simple logic. Simple logic. Just do it from the start. Don't do it after you cost us. Simple. But let's not fall into this trap, please. I beg you, because I like to think, as Irish Hotspur Army, as Tottenham fans, I like to think we're better than that. I like to think we're better than that. But look, we're going to start getting on the guests. We've got guests after guests after guests. So let's start getting them on and let's get through them and let's see what they have to say. First one on is Mia. Mia, how are you?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad.
You played like the rest of us. Where do we start? What do we even talk about? It's so hard.
I think where I'd like to start is that I think at the beginning of the game we didn't start well. I'm going to say that. I think at the beginning of that game we looked shaky. We looked a bit off of it, and we didn't come on to them. We let them have the ball. We're making like silly mistakes again, like doing silly stuff. But once they got that goal, I felt like we were much better. I felt like we were then moving forward on the pitch. I felt like we were trying to make chances, and I felt like it was definitely improved. That second goal, it knocked us for six. Like, I feel like that knocked us. It made us, it just like popped the balloon a little bit. And
took
I think
the wind out of them almost.
Yeah, it took the wind out of them 100%. But then we got to half time, and I think that whatever, Conte tried to say to them, we could still get back into this. Let's just go out there and try. And that second half, we absolutely thumped them. They did have chances, 100%. They did have chances, but those chances weren't chance after chance after chance. Like, we didn't do what we normally do and sit back with Liverpool and soak up the pressure and hit them on the counter, because we couldn't do that because we didn't have the players to do that today. So obviously the way we had to play had to be adjusted. It had to be, because we've got so many injuries that we have to adjust it. People don't understand, like, if you've not got the tools, what do you expect him to do? It's like sending somebody to go to a job, my dad, my brother's a carpenter, but send him there without no tools. Like, why would you send a carpenter to a job with no tools, or an electrician? Like, you've got to have the tools. And at the moment, Conte's working on bare minimal tools because we've got so many injuries. And ultimately, the person that cost us that game was Eric Dyer. It wasn't Conte.
Before we go on to Eric Dyer, I do want to ask you, because for me, I agree. I think it comes down to individuals. If it's not Dyer, it's Lloris, it's Davies, it's Sanchez, it's Doherty, it's
Hmm.
Sessegnon. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Pick which one you want. They all do it. But many people are blaming Conte for the first half performances. Where do you put the blame for them? Because look, the answer lies somewhere.
I honestly think, I think I said this to Jack, I don't believe that he sends them on there and says, be completely negative and make absolute bozo mistakes. Like, I don't think he says that. He doesn't say, drop yourself like a pole dancer on the floor or act like you've got size 20 shoes on, like a clown. Like, he doesn't do that. I honestly do not believe that he
He
does
doesn't
that.
ask them to have a 20-yard first touch. Yeah.
Yeah, he
That's what he
doesn't
does.
do that. I think that he says to them, listen, guys, be careful, be cautious. But they just take that as, oh, yeah, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah, blah, blah. Oh,
Mm.
and then they go on and go, what did he say? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I forgot what he said. Like, I swear some of them just forget what he says. They're just such airheads.
What did you
They're
say to
probably,
me on Friday, Mia? Wasn't it like they hear cautious and then when Conte says cautious, they hear scared and awful. You know,
yeah,
when he
so much,
says
yeah,
be cautious,
awful.
when he says be pragmatic, they are like, okay, we'll take that as being,
Would
terrible and
just be
awful.
terrible and awful. Yeah, just yeah, that's how we're going to take
They
it.
take it the other
So
way.
I do think it's that because I honestly can't see Conte sending those players out and telling them to do the stupid things that they do. He might say to them, "Be careful," because certain teams can be dangerous, and we've got to be cautious, right? We do. We have to because he knows our defense is absolute clownery, so that he knows that. So he's going to say to them, "Be careful," but then like you see them all over the pitch making the mistakes and all the rest of the team probably looking at them like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, why? Just why? Because can you imagine being a team with Dyer and sometimes obviously with Sanchez when they're on the pitch, you're just like, oh mate, like
I'd be chasing them around
honestly.
the dressing room, mate. Honestly, I'd be waiting for the minute tunnel. I'd be chasing them all around that stadium till I got my hands on them. I'd be clapping
Yeah,
them together. But look, let me ask you this, because I refuse to let someone like Moon Boots, who constantly steals the headlines in a bad light, take away from the good that we've actually seen from other individuals today that I believe should be highlighted, like a Perisic, like a Basuma, like a Bentacore.
yeah, and I thought they had really good games, and I thought like Perisic playing in that position, I think he did really well. He did
Agreed.
really well. He really did try. He,
Got into good
going
chances.
forward, he was really good. And Basuma winning the ball back, especially in that second half, he was like a little Yorkshire Terrier. He was
Yeah.
not having any of it. He was getting that ball back regardless. Like he didn't care. So it
Even some
was
of the
like.
players. One stage, you bet like 4 Liverpool players with little touches around them all. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was so good. Obviously, we had Royale, which was obviously whenever he got the ball, I'm just like, no, like he over kicks it or under kicks it. He's just like he's just like chicken, isn't he? Like basically, he's chicken Royale because if it's overcooked, it's horrible. If it's undercooked, it's disgusting. You can't eat it. It's raw, like it's raw. Like honestly, I can't, I don't know what to do. I just don't know anymore. Like, and then obviously Doherty come on, and I think it wasn't the Doherty effect. I think it was more the Kulu effect. Once Kulu come on, that was something like a massive big boost for us because although we'd been playing well, Kulu just went so much better. And look what happened. The minute he comes, like 2 minutes after he comes on, we score. Like he was
Mm.
the difference maker. Like I think he made a difference as well. I think adding that extra little boost, and obviously he couldn't play the full time. I don't think because he wasn't fit enough,
Yeah.
and it would have been silly to try and bring him on when they're fresh legged. When they're tired and we've got them under the cosh, it's better to bring him on then because that's more of a threat because they're tired. They could make mistakes because they're tired. So I think that was probably the right decision to bring him on then than to bring him on at the start.
Mm.
Like I still believe that. I still believe that bringing him on early doors, I don't think it would have made as much difference.
That's what
Yeah.
I was sort of
Yeah.
saying in the watch along, Mia, because I kind of felt like a lot of people were criticizing Conte with the team he picked in the first half. And I was kind of like, you were there with me on the fan show. I was saying risk Kulusevski. I was saying I'd be happy to risk him because I'm just getting impatient with how
Yeah.
few players we have available to us. I'll be honest, a lot wiser people, including yourself, are saying, listen, Jack, we don't even play well in the first half, anyways. and he is probably not actually 100%, and we don't want to make a hamstring injury become a lifelong thing for him, or a career-long thing for him, should I say. And a lot of people felt that way. And then all of a sudden, the moment they saw the starting lineup, they then were saying, oh, you should be starting Kulu, you should be starting Kulu. And I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot of people saying that on the fan show that day. And I feel like it's just, he had the choice of maybe risking Kulu, and he decided not to. And I thought he brought on Kulu at the right time, actually, to be fair. Maybe he could have brought him on sooner, but I don't even know. Like, I think he brought him on at probably the time he wanted to bring him on, at the time that Kulusevski even probably wanted to be brought on himself. I really doubt that even Kulusevski wanted to be started. If he really wanted to be started, if he really thought he could play 90 minutes, I thought he would have played 90 minutes.
But we're also forgetting about the millions we pay every year to our medical department. It's probably, he doesn't just make these decisions. It's obviously a calculated decision that where like we all know, the medical department, they have these red zones. They'll say to you when a player's come back from injury, look, he can only realistically get in 20 minutes today. So, there's things that he has to abide by as well from the medical department that give him that. So we've got to understand this.
Yeah, no, that's it. We've got to understand there's like a lot of different things that go into it. When somebody's been injured, the player's been injured, they're not match fit necessarily, so it is difficult. But I do think he did the right thing. And all the people who said, oh, he should have come on sooner, or he should have been started, they're people who just want to blame Conte for everything. So they're going to blame Conte for every decision. So now they're saying, well, actually, we should have brought him on sooner, or we should have brought him on from the start. Those people probably who are saying it's all Conte's fault. So I believe there's always a bit of an agenda, because if you're going to flip-flop and change your mind like that, what other reason have you got apart from having a bit of an agenda for it? It's silly. You can't do that. You can't risk a player. They have to have a certain amount of time, like you say, on the pitch,
I couldn't agree more. And Mia, maybe last question before we let you go, my dear. Who do you want in the Champions League draw tomorrow morning?
Oh God, Joe, that's so tricky, because I just feel like whoever we get, like, I think like people saying, oh, I don't want this team, I don't want that team, and I'm a bit like, well, when we had the group of death, we got out of that group of death, and then we played on and we went into the final. So to me, like, I think we should just, whatever game we get, whoever we get, we should give it our best shot. In over 2 legs, we just have to give it our best shot. So I just don't really have a preference. I just feel like we get who we get, and whatever we do, it's going to be a hard game, because it's Champions League. It isn't, it isn't Europa League.
It's also knockout rounds. I think any of the teams that make it through to the knockout round, I don't like really anybody that makes it to the Champions League, as we found out with Frankfurt Sporting. They're not bozos, but I think anybody that makes it into the knockout round certainly won't. That's
what I'm saying. I just feel like it is what it is, and like you can't. What I always try and go by the mantra of is that you can't get worried about things that you can't control. This is something I can't control. I can't control who we get, so I'm not going to get upset about it, because it's out of my hands. So we get who we get. So whatever we hope, we just give a good account of ourselves. That's all I'm asking for. Over 2 legs, I want us to be proud, even if we go out, to say, yeah, we did try in those 2 rounds to continue in the Champions League. That's all really I ask for. So for me, it is what it is. We get who we get. I'm not really going to say there's any real preference. Obviously, people say easy game, but we don't turn up always in the games that we say easy. Because, like I say, the group of death, we got through that. Well, this group, we got through, and obviously the top of it, but we made it difficult for ourselves against teams that, we should have been beating. So, to me, it makes zero difference with Spurs. Like, it doesn't make a difference. Easy game, we still mess it up because we've got moon boots. If it's a hard game, we still got moon boots. So, really, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, it doesn't. Honestly, I'm going to have nightmares one of these nights about that. I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night screaming moon boots. But Mia...
Joe, a quick side note about dreams. I actually had a dream, and Harry Kane was in my dream the other day.
I'm jealous. He was in mine too.
It's you. It's because people keep mentioning you and Harry Kane. So now I've got Harry Kane in my mind, and I dreamt, and he was in my dream. It was really strange. I woke up like, what the heck? I don't even like Harry Kane.
David had that superpower. I think David.
We'll have to compare our Harry Kane dreams. See whose was more whose was more vivid. I have many dreams about Harry.
My dream about Harry wouldn't be the same as yours. If it was Romero, that's different. Then we'll be talking. Do you know what I'm saying? But if it's about Harry doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid. Not my kind of person. Like, as in, not
maybe
like
in the
that anyway.
barbershop. Maybe a dream of you and Kane, in the barbershop with them. But Mia,
No, I
appreciate
had
you
a dream
coming on.
about David and him going down the aisle together. That's what it was.
Oof,
Honestly,
nice.
I dream about that too. I love my Harry. I love it. Although he didn't wish me happy birthday on Friday, which upset me. But look, maybe next year. Maybe next year
next
he'll
time.
recognize me. But Mia, big yourself up, my dear. I really appreciate you coming on and having your say. And hopefully we'll see you on the fan show tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure I will be. All right, chat to you soon. Bye.
Big up, Mia. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Big yourself up. Great to see you. We've got Eleanor in the house. Lily White TV. Big yourself up. I do. Big yourself up. It's good to see you. I hope you are keeping well, by the way. But look, we're going to keep this moving. Who have we got on next?
Michael.
Next? I remember. There it is. Michael, let's get him on. Michael, how are you keeping, my man?
Deflating. What's up, boys? You know, What, David? Sorry.
Result is crushing, lad. It's absolutely
crushing. I mean, yeah, the scoreline itself, I feel really disappointed with it. But overall, I don't know if you will agree, but I think it is one of our best performances this season, in my opinion. If you look at the overall match, because the second half we were brilliant, in my opinion. The first half, I actually think that it was one of the better first halves for good part of this season. I think that actually we gave it a good go in the first half. We were really on top of them in like a 20-minute period between the goals, and I actually enjoyed this match as a whole. But we will get to our culprits today, Dyer mostly, right? And that referee. Listen, I don't like. I really don't like talking about referees. I think that they are human after all. But I also share your comments about the VAR not even checking some of the.
It's just four opportunities, four separate ones to check, and they didn't check a single one of them.
Yeah, that's mad for me, because that's what VAR is there for, right?
Yeah.
So, but not even the penalty decisions, because as much as I hate to admit it, I think that the Sessegnon situation, same thing happened in the Fulham City game, or similar thing happened in the Fulham City game, and Cancelo got sent off for it, and they got a penalty, right? But I think this is one of those trash on the edge situations when you can give it a go one of each way. I think that in terms of Lucas Moura, he didn't go down and give the referee and VAR a real clear and obvious reason to check it, right? I know that
2J was mad about that. He thought he should have made much more of a meal of it. Yeah.
I think that if he went down and started flailing his hands, holding his face like that, maybe they would check it then. But it is what it is. I don't want to blame the scoreline of this match on
the referee.
VAR and referee. It's an added bonus to make it a bit more I don't know even how to describe it, because if nothing of the referee decisions happened, if there weren't such situations, I still would be happy with the performance that we got.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you, Michael, because the big debate then today, if you feel sort of happy with performance, maybe with what you just said, let's kind of break this down here. First half, some people felt like it wasn't actually that great of a first half. Sean, David, and I felt like it wasn't nearly as bad as some people made it out to be. I mean, we're not saying we were playing like Prime Barcelona or anything in the first half, but we thought we were playing a lot better than we'd seen in previous displays in the 3-5-2, and also considering our halves against Bournemouth, Marseille, etc. I thought it was actually a better first half overall performance from most of the players than it was in other games. But what's your thought on the first half? Did we play well? Did we play okay? Was it as bad as people made it out to be?
The reason I said that this was one of the best matches is because like when you look at the first halves of previous games, in a scale of 0 to 10, I would give it a 1 or 2 at best, and some of them even were less than 1. Whereas this first half was a 4 to 5, in my opinion, which is like in the context of the previous matches and previous first halves. I think that this was actually quite solid, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just a tiny bit
Like-
better. Yeah.
Like, you know, because like, you know, I want to see our team tackle the problems that they have and try to improve on the like faulty areas of their game, right? So you know, when I
Yeah.
see first halves like against Bournemouth or like against United, well, the United match, the whole of it was bad, right? But when I see first half like this, and I see first halves like
Comparison,
this one
yeah.
against Liverpool, I actually see like some sort of improvement. But you know, it's all good saying that, but we made like one colossal fuck up. I guess not we as
First
a team,
goal,
but
where did you
one
stand on
person.
the first goal? Like, first goal,
Listen-
is that just a good goal from Liverpool, or is that maybe a bit of poor defending still?
Listen, I think that there are some goals where it's not really a personal fault of a player. So, like, if you look, for example, let me reverse it. If you look at the goal that we scored, right? The Kulu to Kane pass, right? It's probably, you could probably blame it on Konate. Konate was marking Kane, I think, right? But it's harsh to blame it on him because I think that the move was so good that actually it was hard to stop it. You would have to be like on point, and you were like 30 centimeters or half a meter away
More
from
asking
stopping
for
the
perfect
play, right?
defending. Yeah, more
So
asking.
in terms of first goal, I think that it could have been avoided. Everything can be avoided, right? But I was like kind of deflated after it because I was like, yeah, here we go again, first half shit and whatever, right? But after it, we were actually quite good. But the second goal is, to me, it's unexplainable. And
were we playing well before that second goal?
yeah, I think that actually we were kind of on top.
Yeah.
We actually were, in my opinion, brave enough to come out and open up a bit, which we usually aren't doing in the first halves. Because and honestly, it could have been punished because Liverpool had 2 or 3 really good long balls towards Darwin Núñez in that period when we were on top, right? But that's the way. Or when you play football, when you risk something, you then of course you take a risk of getting punished for it, right? But I actually enjoyed that we actually found our ball sack and balls in it and actually opened up a bit, right? So yeah, in terms of like,
but then you find yourself like, right, you said we were on top, but then we concede the second goal.
Yeah, like,
did you see it coming? Was it a huge letdown? I mean,
no, like,
deflated. How did you feel?
You know it's
second
coming.
goal?
Everybody knows it's coming. One of them bozos do it every single game.
Yeah, like, you know, I of course I wasn't expecting it because like when you look at that, like 2 seconds before that thing happens, you look at it and you see Dyer, Langley, and Davis near each other. Royal like not marked on the right side of Dyer, and you are like, how can you possibly fuck this up? And somehow Dyer managed to fuck this up. Like I don't even. I would like to ask him what was his thinking behind not just chesting down the ball and playing it yourself. He didn't have to pass there. There was no
Honestly,
one
Michael,
around
don't
him.
let it beat you up
Like,
that much. Don't let it beat you up that much. Don't think that deep into it. He's just a clown.
Yeah, like those sort of mistakes are like you cannot explain, unexplainable, right? And it's honestly it's deflating, as you said, David, because I seriously think that if we had just a tiny bit of luck more and we didn't do such a fuck up in terms of the second goal, I think that we could have easily won that game. And like it's deflating for me because it's yet another performance against Liverpool when we are actually a better team. And it's
So
mad
it's
to
where
say
you don't
because
really think Liverpool played all that well. This sort of situation.
I think they were shit, to be honest. I think
were.
we just gifted them one goal for no no, absolutely no reason. And the first goal, okay, I will give them that. It was a nice move by them, right? But we all know that Liverpool's problems weren't scoring goals, because they score plenty of goals, right? Their problem is their defense. It's leaky. It's not playing on point, and it wasn't playing too well today, right? We cut them open like many times. There was that Perisic hit the bar, right? He hit the post. Dyer with his mad cross almost scored the goal, right?
Yeah.
There was like, sorry, boys, a stream opened up on my mobile. Sorry. Dyer hit the bar with his cross. We had like couple of chances. The Bentancur one, which came just outside the post. I think that we created lots of dangerous situations. It was just like a tad bit of luck away from us actually scoring and equalizing this game. But imagine what I said now and take out the dire mistake of it, and we would be 2-1 up. And that's the maddest thing for me, because when you look at our recent performances against Liverpool, right? 1-1 at their place, I think that we were better and we should have won that. 2-2 at our place, we were cutting them open like non-stop, and we drew that game. Then there was like
unlucky again, similar.
We lost 3-1 to them with Mourinho, but we also lost 2-1 right before Christmas when we were on top of the table, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at that game, there was like two pretty much like 100% Bergwijn chances that he somehow missed, and it keeps happening. We just give Liverpool chances against us, and that's sad for me, because that would have been a nice statement to win against Liverpool. Finally, do something against the Scousers, but yet again, due to a personal mistake, we somehow
yet again you're empty-handed, or yet again you find yourself, even when we got a point the other games, I found myself still kicking the wall because I knew we could have gotten a whole lot more and we deserved a whole lot more. And it's a similar situation you find yourself in, Michael. But I'm going to give you one last thing to think about differently. Like we asked Mia before, is there anybody maybe you want for Champions League tomorrow? Anybody in mind? Last question before we let you go.
The way I look at like the Champions League draw, I think that when you are in the last 16 of the Champions League, there is no easy matches. Even if you draw like Club Brugge or whoever there is to draw from the easiest team from the second pot. But I would honestly like to dodge PSG. For obvious reason, right? Because if Dyer puts on a masterclass like today, then they will absolutely like shit all over us, and it will be embarrassing, just like Bayern was.
Oh no!
So yeah, like Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi, they are all in top form right now. So I know they might not be in 3 months, but I would just like to I would just like to avoid the risk of playing them. But in terms of all the other teams, I think that if we I said it in like when I was calling with We Are Tottenham TV. I said I don't like the phrase "if we are going to click," because we are saying this for over 2 months already, and we aren't clicking. So there clearly is something missing. Yeah, sorry, boys. I was a bit sick during this week, so sorry. So if we click, then I think that we can beat any of those teams. If we don't click, I think that we can lose to any of those teams. Yeah. So I want us to go to have a challenge and to overcome the challenge. And also, I would like to throw in one quick comment about my favorite manager, Klopp. Yeah, like Klopp, nice 5-5-0 formation, you crayon sniffer, absolute like donkey.
I criticize him for the same thing.
Absolute donkey. Like I've already commented about it like once this season, right, when they played City and they won with 36% possession, and he literally had no attackers for 20 minutes of that game on the pitch because he was so scared of conceding.
I said the same thing in the watch along.
Yeah, like,
no, believe me. No.
Like
I criticize him for the same thing.
I would love him to admit that he was wrong with that comment, but of course he isn't going to do that. But yeah, boys, I am looking forward to the Champions League draw, and I don't think that we should be necessarily too scared of any of those teams. And the only reason I'm saying I would like to avoid PSG is what I said. I think that they are in top form, and just for the for the sake of it, I would like to avoid them. But it's PSG in Champions League, so maybe they fuck up and we eliminate PSG.
I know
so,
exactly what you're saying. Well, Michael, it's a definitely deflating night. We'll let you go with it. Hopefully you can get up early and you don't have to dream of this or have any nightmares from it. But we'll be seeing you soon, my man. And thanks for coming on as always. Appreciate you, brother.
No, big up, Michael. See you soon, my man.
See you, Michael.
Big up, Michael. Absolutely love Michael's call-ins. I love listening to him. He goes into the game into great detail. But I would say, honestly, don't go into that much depth about thinking about the Dier mistake, how it happened, because honestly, his brain is a minefield. So do not do it, my man. We've got Michael Hellman. He says, inexcusable performance. I am hoping for many players to be loaned out in January. We need to maintain top 4 this season and go for a cup. Look, I'll be honest, Michael, I actually don't think the performance is as bad as everyone's making it out to be. I just think the both goals were avoidable. If someone got tight to Darwin Núñez, which you expect they should be doing because he's their outlet, he wouldn't have been able to tee up Mo Salah the way he did. If Dier didn't just header it into Mo Salah's path, I mean, if it was a true ball that was intended, you'd be going, fuck me, that was Crouchy-esque. You know what I mean? But the problem is, it cost us a goal, and them 2 moments alone is what got this game away from us. Apart from that, I actually think performance was all right. I just wonder how many people getting frustrated with the result and maybe putting it in about the performance rather than the individual errors. I'm more frustrated at the individual errors. Don't get me wrong. First half, obviously, second half, much better than what we were in the first half. But as first half have gone lately, I think it was a much better first half than maybe what we've seen. We pressed them. We tried to do the right things. And me personally, I think performance by and large was okay. I just think it comes down to the clown squad again.
Yeah, and January is going to be tough, Michael. I think it's going to be tough to sell players unless you really find clubs that are willing to buy these sort of players. You're going to have to loan them out or find some sort of kind of savvy ways to get them out because not a lot of clubs are probably very interested in half these guys, especially with the way they've been playing recently. Definitely haven't been making a good case for themselves either. So it will be a tough job for sure. Big up, my man. And also we have a certain Harry Winks who I guess will be coming back early as well. So we have to deal with that as well.
I will say I wouldn't expect everything to be done in January because it's just not going to happen.
No, it's just not how it works, really, is what I'm trying to allude to.
Like that.
Yeah,
well, big up, Michael, brother. I really appreciate the support. Hopefully we can do some business in January. Like you said, that will help us maintain that top 4, my man. Big yourself up, Michael. Love that comment. And we've got the Dierbolical. He says, big up, Jerry. Says, first goal, Dier is completely out of position and having no defensive impact. Lloris steering headlights and second needs no explanation. Yeah, the first goal was completely avoidable. They put balls in like that time and time again, though, where we're just so far off them and just letting them take it in. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Like me, I expect them to be tight up their hole, and the sooner, if they get pinned, try and put your legs round to dislodge it or something like that, but not just back off them and let them be free to do what they want. I mean, it was there all game. Darwin Núñez running down the right side, Dier clopping behind him, about 20 minutes behind him, and then just lets him jog inside, lets him come inside, which is what Núñez is looking to do to shoot. And it's just, honestly, the defending drives me absolutely crazy. I was lucky. I grew up in an era where all across Europe, I've watched some of the best defenders to ever grace this game. And I know what defenders should be doing. And when I see this, it just sends me absolutely crazy, Jerry, because everything they're doing is wrong. Everything is reactionary rather than proactive. It's just, it's a shambles.
No, I think the first goal, when I really think about it more and more, I haven't even taken more looks at it. But when I even think about it, Tory, that first goal, I do remember Dier, basically, that was sort of his area and that was his man, ultimately, Núñez. And the fact that he was able to take it down in the box, turn, and then find Salah really just says a lot. I think once it gets to Salah, I don't really blame much of the team after that. Probably Lloris, maybe you could say, have done a bit better. I didn't even think about that. It's, I didn't analyze that part, but I think if you want to stop that goal, like I said before, if you need to stop that goal, you probably stop that pass into Núñez, or you make that turn and everything he did, a whole lot harder. And we just made it so easy for him. Jory. Simple as.
No,
And like you said, with the second, no need for explanation. It's not rocket science. It's just Moonhead.
It's just not rocket science whatsoever. I mean, Jerry, you were a great defender in your day, my man. Maybe you could get on the coaching panel and give them a thing or two, teach them a thing or two. But big up to Jericho. Really appreciate the support. And Michael as well, guys. Let's keep this moving. Who have we got on next? Where is he? Mr. Elusive. Where is he? Mr. Tristan. Here he is. Let's get him on. How you doing right now?
Yo, not too bad, bro. Not too bad. First things first, happy birthday for Friday, bro.
No, I appreciate it. Look, it's my whole weekend's been ruined now anyway, so but I appreciate the sentiments. But look, Ryan, I mean, where do we start? I mean, what's your thoughts on today's game?
Well, it's ridiculous, man, because the first goal could have been prevented, and I disagree with both you and Jack with the first about how the first goal could have been defended. I think Sessegnon could have got his foot in a lot earlier.
Oh, look, I think I do agree. I think he could have read the game a bit earlier and got across. But who's marking Darwin Núñez? Who's allowing him to stand there free and lay it off to Salah?
Yeah.
This is what I keep talking about, though, right? It's a knock-on effect. One does one something slow and reactionary. It's a knock-on effect the whole way across. No leader back there.
No, and the thing is, right, I mean, I think even you could have played probably better in defence today than Dyer.
Ryan, I mean, I'm an incredible footballer, to be honest with you. I should be out there, you know, but look, unfortunately, my granddad wasn't in charge of the FA back in the 70s or whatever it was where Dyer's was, so I wasn't rewarded a contract.
Oh, well, that's a bit of a shame because you would have been playing decently at the back today, but I
would have. But look, let's talk about maybe something a bit different than Dyer. What about Emerson's performance today? A lot of people very unhappy with Emerson.
With Emerson, it's a tricky one because, like, because I want to criticise him, but then at the same time I don't, because there were some parts that he done okay on, but then it was just the tracking back again. It's just the same. It's the same old thing over and over again. It's either the tracking back's wrong or he's not putting the ball in the box quick enough. Like,
especially after Marseille, where he had an okay game against Marseille. Do you feel like he kind of let you down today, maybe after the Marseille performance, maybe, Ryan?
Yeah, realistically, yeah. And then, right, Mora, well, he should have been rolling on the floor like a Cristiano Ronaldo, because that was a joke. Even though he didn't get hit in the face, he was half an inch away from being hit in the face, but he should have gone down like a ton of bricks. Like, and do you know what the annoying thing is? Right, most of that defense, apart from Lenglet, right, might as well be called see you next Tuesdays, because it was diabolical at the back there. But like with Mora, like I said, he should have gone down like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, we're just not streetwise. I think it's the right word for it. Just streetwise. I mean, you know, you've got to ask the question, especially in big moments like that. I can maybe understand what was going through Lucas Moura's head. Just get straight back up, try and get involved with play and go for the game rather than piss about. I'll be honest, I think if he did dive about and it wasn't giving people who were mad at him for time wasting, I think it's a bit of 50-50, but I would like in them big moments for us to go down and ask the question for sure.
Yeah, and what really annoys me as well, Dave, about that as well, right? And it was something I heard after I finished watching the game with what Jack said, right? Where there could have been probably at least one penalty check. No, Jack, there could have been about 4 penalty checks there, mate. And that's not trying to have a go at you, man. That's just literally from what I saw, like, you know.
Yeah, you feel like they should have looked at all of them. You're saying they should have looked at every single one, yeah.
Every single one of them, man. Because at least 3 of them were penalties. The Kane one, well, don't even start me with that one. Kane, right, literally did
when
get
Conte
done
ran into him.
Yeah, he got flattened out of the game. And then, like, Moura, obviously, I've spoken about. He should have gone down like a ton of bricks. And then Sessegnon's one. Well, do you know what, right? I agree with what Mourinho said. We need to be more nasty. And that's the nice way of putting it. We need to play act more. But do you know what the problem is with this?
Let me ask you this. I'm just curious to know. Were you saying that at the time with Mourinho?
I was agreeing because we were too nice beforehand.
Yeah, I agree.
And now we've gone back to being too flaming nice. And you know what? It's started to bug me. It's okay being nice human beings off the pitch. Fine. Do what you got to do off the pitch and be nice. But when you're on that pitch for 90 minutes, just be nasty. Literally get your... But do you know, right? It really annoys me and I sound like I'm losing my temper, but I'm not. Right? And it's got to the point now where I just want people to now be absolutely nasty. I want them to be absolute MFs on that football pitch for 90 minutes or 95 minutes or however long it's going to be. But they're not going to be. Yeah. And do you know what that is? And do you know what the problem with that is? It's because none of them have either got the desire to want to be at Tottenham. And I think that's the same with Moon Boots. He hasn't got the desire to want to be at Tottenham. And it's the same with some of them.
I'll be honest, Ryan. I think they do want to be at Tottenham. I mean, they've got a hotel there to sleep in if they don't want to go home to the wife and kids. You know, they're playing the best stadium world football. They're collecting more money now than what they would if they left Tottenham. Of course, they want to be here and they have the desire to be here. They're just not good enough to be here. That's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I think I disagree with you that one, Dave. Actually, because I think. Now, do you know why I disagree with you with Moon Boots for out of all of them, right? And it's because you wouldn't make that pass, right, into Salah's path if you had the desire to try and if you had the desire to be at that club.
I think it was one of them. I think he went to head it back to Hugo Lloris in the corner of his eye. He caught Mo Salah. He ended up paying more attention on Mo Salah than he did the football. That's why that mistake happened. I don't think
was it like in the middle of an oh shit moment kind of?
Yeah, exactly. An oh shit moment. He already knows Salah's read him, and it's kind of caught him off guard. And the thing is, look, he didn't mean it. Of course, he didn't mean it. It's just when you're not good enough at this level, these things happen.
I'll tell you what was what I did like though, right? And I think this would probably you and Jack would probably agree with me, is when Kane actually closed down Alisson. Now that was smart. That was.
Say that again.
You're saying when Kane closed down Alisson, that showed that.
Yeah. Thank you, Jack.
He's saying when Kane closed down Alisson, that was a smart play. That was a bit of savviness, maybe shown by the team.
It was savviness. And look, the rewards were there when we pressed them today. A lot of the times, especially in the second half, when we pressed them, they just kicked the ball straight back to us. So the rewards were there for it. Look, again, we didn't take our chances. That's another thing altogether. But I mean, everyone's already thought we're out again because we're 2-0 down. It's just. Look, Ryan, it's really frustrating today. But look, my man, who do you want in the Champions League draw tomorrow?
Well, this is a difficult one because I'd like to say that I'd want a hard draw, but I can't really say who I really want at this stage. And the only reason why is because we don't play our next games until after the transfer window, so I'd be hesitant to really say who I'd like to have until I've seen who we brought in January.
Well, you don't get that choice, my man, because the draw's tomorrow.
Get that choice, but look, do you know what? Look, look, you don't get that choice because the draw's tomorrow.
You don't get that choice, all right, and the draw's tomorrow.
Right. Well, then if I've got to choose someone, I'd say PSG.
Interesting. Why?
Why? Well, I'd love to see how if we've actually got the mental grip to like literally go all the way out there and concentrate for 90 minutes and show what Kane can really do.
These guys can't even concentrate against Callum Wilson, let alone Mbappe, Messi, and fucking Neymar. But look, we're going to move on. Big yourself up, my man, Ryan. I really appreciate you calling in. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you will do.
Big up, Ryan. See you, my man.
Cool.
Big up, Ryan. Catch you soon, brother.
Bye. Well, look, we'll keep this moving. I mean, my old lad sort of said to me he wants PSG as well because he just feels with maybe the way they sort of play into our hands because their forwards are lazy. But honestly, we can't even handle NS Moore front line, let alone some of the most highest paid and best quality footballs in the world. But look, let's keep moving. I think it's Olatron next, if I'm correct. I'm just going to say
the Olatron. Yep.
Let's get him on. Olatron, how are you keeping, man?
I'm a bit frustrated. Bit frustrated.
Yeah, what's frustrated you most about today's result, Ollie?
Don't know. It's just when you play well and lose, it's just it just does your head in. Like I just keep thinking about that mistake Dyer made, and obviously when you're at home with Liverpool fans, it's just even worse.
So do you feel like how we did then, Ollie, where like the first half wasn't really all that bad of a performance? Because that's where the fan base is a bit split right now, is that first half. And did we really play bad, as people say we did? Or was it really just kind of an individual mistake that made it look like a whole lot worse than it really was?
The individual mistake, because, well, all right, we didn't start well for the first 10 minutes, but I thought when Liverpool scored, I remember texting my brother-in-law saying I'm happy with the way we've responded since we went 1-0 down, and then we were in the game, and I actually went to
myself before Dyer done that.
I actually went to the toilet and I came back and it was 2-0. I couldn't believe it, and Rebecca told me that Dyer's after gifting us a goal, and just here, as long as we have Dyer, Davis, Emerson, these type of players in our team, we're gonna suffer through individual mistakes. And like when you're playing against Bournemouth and Marseille, you can get back into the game, but against Liverpool, if you go 2-0 down to Liverpool, like you're gonna struggle. Well, I was happy with the way we played. Like if I'm certain if we play like that next week, we'll win next week. So sorry, here, go on. If we play like that next week, we'll win the game and we'll go into the World Cup. We're going to be fourth anyway, but we'll go into the World Cup in a decent position to come back after January, and we'll just see what happens. But I'm a little bit gutted about that today. And also another thing, first actually,
just before you get into some more things, I noticed you didn't say Ryan Session's name when you were talking about bad players or maybe players holding this club back. Do you think Session is good enough to be here? Because again, another one, I thought he was absolutely shit in the final third. In fact, I thought it was embarrassing for a guy that used to play left wing.
Yeah, I actually kind of just forgot to mention him, to be honest with you. Like there's times
so many.
the way
insignificant.
When I look at our wing backs, we have Perisic, who's really good. He's good enough. And then the rest of them are crap. Like, and I put Sessegnon as like the second best out of the crap lot. So I kind of just forget about him because he does do some good things. What does me head in about Doherty and Emerson is that when Doherty will come on and he'll be absolutely crap for a few games, and then Emerson will come back in, do okay for like half a game, and then another half a game, and then we're like, oh yeah, Emerson did well that game, and then when Doherty actually came on today with Kulusevski, I actually thought he did all right. But this is the problem. Like they're both shit. We just need a good right wing back.
I also think it's Kulusevski bringing the best out of players. I think it would have happened to Emerson. Had Emerson maybe been brought on, we probably would have been finding ourselves saying, right, oh, wow, look how much better Emerson was than, Doherty, because I think also Kulusevski just simply brings the best out of any player he, plays alongside too. And it just speaks to also how shit they both are, like you said, Ollie. Like,
What's more urgent? Right
Sorry?
wing back, centre back in the window. What's more urgent?
You know what? I kind of had it in my head that we're going to January and we'll get a centre back and an attacking midfielder, like, and maybe try and push the right wing back till the summer. But no, I think we just need the centre back and a right wing back, and we'll have to, because I just have a feeling we're only going to get 2 in January.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if we get 3, but
Well, we did last time, anyways.
yeah, if we got 2, it'll have to be a centre back and a right wing back, because they're all shit apart from Perisic. They just are. Like, I've tried to be positive. Like, even when Emerson came on against Marseille, I was kind of like, oh, he did well. Like, also, and he did well against Liverpool last time, and he'll do all right. But he even for the first goal, if he pushes out, like, why is he tucked in so far in when we're playing a back three? I don't understand
Because
it.
he's scared, Ollie. Because he's scared. That's why.
And another thing, what got on my nerves today is at first I actually thought it wasn't a penalty. I thought it was soft. I thought Sessegnon went down too easily. But looking at the Fulham penalty, Man City yesterday, like
all the other penalties we've seen given,
yeah, like why did we not get that rub of the green today? It's just frustrating. Like, could have been a penalty. At first, I thought it wasn't a penalty, but yeah.
Well, also, you didn't even have to get so fixed over that one. There are 3 others that, were, I would say, equally as debatable as kind of how fans feel about it here, Ollie, is that the Lucas one, everybody thought that Lucas probably should have made that one look a lot, more convincing, considering it was a high boot and considering it was, him getting kicked in the face, essentially. And you look at the one with Kane, I think, where he got kind of taken down awkwardly by Conte, wasn't really looked at. Kane, I remember throwing his arms up in the air. Sort of feels like there were a few of them that you could have had your pick with.
You think we would have got one out of the tree, wouldn't you? Like,
that's what I said. And I know, like, again, we find ourselves, and I'll continue to repeat this here, Ollie, at no means at any stage today have I blamed the referee for us losing it. But I would say, though, is that what I do find odd is that of all those 4 opportunities for maybe VAR to come in, or maybe even just for the referee, just to take a moment just for VAR to catch up and maybe see, if there was something behind it. It feels like every other team, at least out of 4 of those moments, would have probably gotten the benefit of the doubt, would have maybe gotten, like you said, the rub of the green, or maybe would have even at least gotten a moment with VAR just to look over the decision and just to look over it with the replays a bit more. But it does seem like it is a pattern with Spurs that I just don't even see us ever even get a consideration, even, a look at. I think even Dark Sun G said the last time we had a VAR check that actually gave us anything that benefited us was the Arsenal game, which I think is a crime to even think about, because I can't really.
The Arsenal game when we won 3-0.
No, the recent one, the season one, Richarlison was awarded a penalty. I think awarded VAR.
I didn't even know VAR was involved in that. I thought it was just
maybe not.
Ref gave the penalty and they didn't dispute it. Like,
maybe not. Maybe I'm full of it. But
I don't know.
The point is that it feels like VAR rarely steps in for us even this season. If they do step in, it feels like it's to take anything away from us.
He did against West Ham.
Yeah, they step in then to take a penalty away from us, and he step in when
to take
Laurie
away
saves the penalty. Yeah. Like, and he comes off the line a little. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it's feeling a little bit salty.
It is, I think, classic. But let's talk about maybe, the second half then. Like you're kind of with us. You feel like the first half maybe wasn't nearly as bad as maybe people kind of made it out to be. Do you kind of then feel like Conte, the way he set up the team and everything to begin with, were you not really that bothered by it because of the players he had available to him? Or do you feel like he could have set up the team maybe a bit differently?
No,
could he have put Kulusevski on? Could he have risked him? How did you stand about the starting lineup and maybe the substitutions and stuff like that?
No, he knows here, like, Kulusevski's been out since October. Like, I'm never going to come on and say, oh, he should have played him straight away after him being injured for so long. He knows better than most when to bring him on. Like, he obviously thought, here, this guy has 20, 30 minutes in him, and we're going to have to keep him on the bench. So if you're going to keep him on the bench, our best 2 forward players is Kane and Perisic. Play him up front, and I can't argue with anything what he did. Bissouma looked really good today.
Yeah, I thought really it was incredible. Good. I've been a big critic of his, Ollie's. I think he done both sides of the game well, actually winning.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
And on the ball, I thought he was fantastic.
Because there were games when he was getting stuck in for us, but he wasn't exactly doing a lot with the ball. But this game, he was getting stuck in and being a lot more progressive with it today.
Yeah, the way he was like turning with it, turning towards his own goal, and
he had some nice feet at times, really nice, bit of feet, close control. He received a few hospital passes that I thought he did really well with actually today too, where he didn't give it away. Almost kind of Bentancur-esque, I could say, even the way that he kind of kept possession at one moment. Because one time I think he did skip past a few guys just to keep possession, basically. It was nice.
If he keeps on playing like that, we're going to have he's going to have some selection problems, it was a really good performance today by him. That's positive. And
and was Højbjerg actually maybe, I don't think Højbjerg was poor today, but was he maybe a bit, average in comparison to them, or maybe not? Yeah, I thought so. Maybe he kind of lacked a bit in comparison to them.
Yeah, I have to watch the highlights. Out of the three midfielders, I kind of noticed stuff what Bentancur did and Bissouma did, and I just, when you're watching a game, sometimes you just kind of forget that some players are there, and you don't really.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying with Højbjerg.
Yeah, I've actually kind of been like that with Bissouma. I haven't really noticed him too much, but that was Højbjerg today. Yeah, I just didn't really kind of notice what he was doing. He was probably just doing the basics and midfield. But yeah, it's if we play like that next week, we'll win.
Yeah, well, we need to. It's the last game before the World Cup, so we have to go in on a high, Ollie. But look, my man, who do you want in the Champions League draw tomorrow morning?
Here, I'm kind of I think it's a big plus that we're in the last 16 of the Champions League. This time last year, we couldn't have even imagined it. So whoever we get, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm actually thinking about going to the game as well. So. Obviously, I'd like to get Bruges because, you ever watch the film in Bruges? Bruges, it's fairy tale, isn't it? Well, definitely Bruges, but I won't be. Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry, my laptop played up there. But, I won't be too disappointed if we get PSG. I'll just enjoy it, it ain't every day that you get to be in the Champions League. So
you'll just enjoy whoever we get because it's the round of 16, it's the knockouts, and we're back in it, baby. Yeah, I like that outlook.
Conte's been here 1 year. We're in the last 16 of the Champions League. I don't think we should be too hard on ourselves that he comes in 9th place team and we should be winning the Champions League and top of the Premier League, and it just doesn't work like that. So just enjoy being in the Champions League, and anything can happen.
Home for the draw tomorrow. You're listening to it in the van.
I'll listen to it in work. Yeah, definitely.
You're gonna have to call in sick for an hour, I think, Ollie, or just tell him you got a dead disappointment or something like that. Because we've got to enjoy these draws. We've been pining to have these back. But you know what? I like the message. We're going to win next week if we play like that. Ollie, you always bring a positive, my man. Big yourself up.
No worries, lads. And fair play to you for doing this after. I know it's tough doing it after when we lose, but we played all right today. So,
any final messages for Spurs fans?
Final message for Spurs fans. Same message as I keep on saying. Conte's been here 1 year. We're 4th. We're in the last 16 of the Champions League. We get a few more players in January. Loads of people are writing us off. Let's just prove them all wrong like we did last season.
Love that. Well, Ollie, big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate you coming on. And look, if you're up for it, fan show tomorrow night, come on and let me know what you think of the Champions League draw.
Definitely. No worries, lads. I'll see you in a while. See you later, Dave.
Jack.
I'll be booking a hotel room for the night, by the way. I wouldn't be sitting in around the family with all Liverpool fans.
Oh, yeah, I'm leaving now. I'm going out. I'm going sleeping in my shed now,
Good man.
She wants me to watch a Christmas movie with her now. It's terrible. It's not even December.
Honestly, it's a joke. Get her a nice Spurs jersey for Christmas. She'll be happy.
Well, I'll get one. I'm going next week, aren't I? I'm going to get her one.
Yeah. Love it. Well, Ollie, we'll see you soon, sir. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Bye. Catch you later.
Pick yourself up. Everybody, give it up for Ollie. Absolute sound guy. He's a top guy as well. Give it up from Head of Kildare Spurs as well. What a man. But look, let's keep. We got a super chat here from Leighton Evelyn. He says, Dave, we know that Dyer, Hugo, Sanchez, or Emerson are going to make a mistake. They are just facts. Nothing we can do about it until they are gone. I mean, I've had to argue with nearly half of the Spurs fan base to make people they're aware that they're facts, because can't sit here and deny the amount of people that said to me, no, they are good enough. Dave, you're just being a big meanie weenie. You're being the playground bully. Well, it turns out I wasn't. I was just highlighting the fact that it's going to happen. So I just feel the need to make sure that now we're sitting here this window demanding defenders, because last summer we weren't. I was having arguments with people. They're like, no, we need a centre attacking midfielders. Like, no, we score goals. Never the problem. We always score goals. Just can't keep them out. And now everyone's talking about the defence when it's too late, when the window's closed. So I'm going to keep banging on about it. So hopefully we spend all January talking about it until I get my wish.
I think Leighton, I think certainly they're going to continue to let us down until we get rid of them. But we did find ourselves where the likes of Sanchez, especially, and the likes of Dyer, I don't really think any other channels, really many other people were going after them in the way we were before the season had begun, or even while the season was going until they started making the mistakes. It feels like it's only until they really start making mistakes that people now are kind of gotten fed up with them. And I understand that is how it is sometimes. You kind of want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we did kind of, especially Davo here, was going blue in the face with these guys in preseason and saying that this will come back to haunt us, through the season and halfway through the season, and look where we are now. And Leighton, I think we will get rid of them, but we had the opportunity to do so in the summer. And I'll be honest, not a lot of people were very keen to do so. Let's just say.
And that's what annoys me. We're sitting here going, oh, well, it's well known, it's facts, this, that, and the other. But from the reaction I was getting when I was speaking about them, it does not seem to be the case. And that's why I keep highlighting it until I get my wish. Because I truly believe we upgrade the back line, get in culpable players, you'll see a much better Tottenham all around. But Leighton, beat yourself up, my man, and I hope you're keeping well, brother. Hopefully Wells is treating you nicely. Beat yourself up. By the way, when am I going to get to hear that big sexy voice of yours again? Come on and have a conversation with me sometimes, my man. But beat yourself up, Leighton. But look, Jacko, who have we got next? I just need to take a quick drink of water. My fucking...
Got Dermatron next, Dave.
Let's get him on. Big up, Dermot.
Good to have you, Dermot.
Good. I hope the internet's okay, because it seemed a bit jumpy, so I hope it's not from my end, but I hope I'm coming through all right.
I can hear you all right. Dermot. What do you have to say, my man? What do you want to say?
What can you say? What has not been said? Look, I don't think it was a bad performance as everyone's making out. I thought it was one of the better first half performances this season, apart from the same old numpties making the same old mistakes again and again and again. For the first goal, Emerson was out of position completely. He tucked in too tight, so that gave the Liverpool player all the space in the world to go down that wing. I mean, he had so much space, you could probably get a bulldozer through there. As for the first goal, Dyer again didn't put his body in the line, sort of turned a bit. He had seconds on, could have gone in earlier. And as for the second goal, God knows what that man was thinking.
For the first goal, just you're moving a bit quickly for me, Dermot. Sorry. But for the first goal, like, do you feel like Hugo could have done a bit better there? I heard some people say that. I didn't get maybe all the replays, because I was just upset, let's be honest, when watching the game. But I'm not sure if you caught all the replays. Some people thought Hugo was also a bit kind of culpable. Sessegnon was also mentioned as being a bit culpable. Of course, I think it doesn't fall all on one person here, and we have maybe pinned it on Dyer. But like you said, Emerson, maybe, definitely let too much space down that side. Sessegnon, I think, was mentioned by Ryan. Dyer is mentioned that first goal. Did Hugo maybe play a part too, do you think? Because I think it was. The more I think about it and the more I look back on that goal, I think it was a good finish actually by Salah. I just feel like there's a lot that could have been prevented. About the ball into Nunez could have been prevented, like you said, from Emerson. The ball from Nunez to Salah could have been prevented, it feels like, by Dyer. And then maybe the shot afterwards, I don't know, but maybe, what do you think? Was Hugo at all responsible, or maybe could have done better? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Go on, you go first, Tom. I'll come in after.
Because this is what people have said, but I didn't catch the replays for that.
Look, for me, it started by Emerson being too tucked in. And they had so much space down that right-hand side for the goal, for the first goal, was unbelievable. He didn't do his job. I mean, we were both, as we set up at the start of the game, both wings, we didn't have enough cover on both sides of the wings, but we were leaving gaps either side for Liverpool, and they just kept bombing us down that side, right-hand side of the pitch for the first 15, 20 minutes. They knew they could do that.
Here's the thing, who do you blame for the gaps down that right-hand side? Because I think it's a bit nitpicking to blame Emerson, because he is instructed to get forward down that right-hand side, which does leave us somewhat exposed on either side, down each side. But Davies never looks as exposed as Dyer or anybody that plays on that right-hand side does. Is it Emerson, or should they just, because look, even when Nunes did get down the right-hand side and Dyer tried to get out to him, he just dropped off. For me, I think I'm more look to Dyer as well, is because he, like, the whole idea of having the back three is that when your wing backs push forward, your defence can push out a little, and ideally your left and right act sort of like fullbacks.
Yeah, it was a combination of everyone. I don't think you could blame Hugo a little bit, but I think you could blame the back three, Dyer and Dave, because you are right, Dave, they have to act like fullbacks. Because if your fullbacks are bombing up the pitch, they've got to take their spaces. Myself, I would have done a 4-5-1. That's how I would have gone in today. I would have packed out the midfield to give us that little of extra protection in the middle and at the back. I know we don't play well as a 4, but I would have done something different today because of the players being out injured. Look, for Dyer for the second goal, that's just on. You can't say anything about it. It was just a bonehead thing. I mean, I don't care. People can come up with excuses all you want. He was just a bonehead. For me, it was just ridiculous. Anyone with 2 brain cells will know. Either chest it down. If you're not sure, get it out. Header it out. I'd rather concede a throw-in than a goal, to be fair.
I would have given it out to him either decision he made, whether it was putting it out for a throw-in or giving it back to Mo Salah, because there's just no one no one around them within a 10-mile radius. Like,
no.
It's all Spurs players around him. What's he panicking for? What's he panicking?
Dave, we've been talking about this for I don't know how long. There's just no excuse for it. It's just he's not a very high player. We need to move him on. His contract runs out in 2024. So look, we need to get him out.
Provided he doesn't get a new one, Dermot. I mean, so you could be asked to celebrate a Dyer new contract this week.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That would make me want to give up football completely.
If he gets a new one, it baffles me. But look, Dermot, second half, much more positive. I mean, we really went for it second half.
We did. Look, I don't think the first half was that bad. You cut out Dyer's mistake. We get the penalty, which VAR needs to have a complete overhaul. We're going up 1-1. So I don't think the first bad is as bad as everyone's making it out. There was individual mistakes. Second half, we should have scored. If we took our chances, we would have won that 2-1. Yeah. It's mistakes and not taking our chances. We can be there is positive to take out of this game. So you got to look at the positives.
What player do you think was probably our best player on the pitch today?
I would say Bentancur, Bissouma. I thought Kubaseski was, when he came on, it clicked when he came on. But for me, Bissouma played brilliant today. Bentancur he's just unreal.
For me, he's my man of the match, Bentancur.
Yeah. I thought Bissouma was. He's mine. He was my man of the match. I thought Bissouma had a very good game, off the ball and on the ball. Højbjerg was very quiet. But for the amount of games he plays, I'm not surprised.
What about Perisic, Dermot? Did it work playing him up front with Kane?
It didn't for me. I don't think he's used to that, but I thought he did well for what was asked of him. Should have scored. I feel
like he did a job. Yeah.
He did a job. He should have scored, but a good save by Liverpool, by Alisson for his header. He did a job. I thought Kane worked tirelessly up front. I really did. I thought that we should have had a penalty in the first half. Kane one was outside the box, so it was on the sort of it was either this or that. So you probably go for outside. The Højbjerg one was a penalty. Look, VAR needs an overhaul. and it needs to overhaul who uses it. And it's now getting to the point that decisions are being made by a referee you can't see. And the referee on the pitch who's been told what decisions to make is like taking the flag, but it should be the people in VAR should be taking responsibility as well, because they're the one making the decisions. You can't have a penalty yesterday at Man City. That was a soft penalty to give. And you have a penalty today with Segerson and the one with Højbjerg that should have been given. So you can. It has to be consistencies all the time.
Yeah,
and this is where the criticisms for VAR comes from, though, Dermot. Like, okay, I looked at the Man City one yesterday. I said, yeah, soft penalty. But at the end of the day, if you're going to give it in one game, the first day, you've got to give it the next day, in my opinion. It's just and this is where the criticism comes from. And we can all say it's not VAR that's the problem; it's the people using it. But it is a problem. Yeah. It is a problem because the inconsistencies of it.
It's a corrupt system made by corrupt organisations, and that's down to FIFA, UEFA, who come up with these ideas. And again, the Premier it's made for teams that they want to, progress. We're never going to get a decision because it's never going to go our way. And it needs to be changed. There needs to be an overhaul, either bring it in for goal line technology and offsides, or just bring it back to what it used to be, because this cannot go on because it's killing the game. And if you're going to kill the game, it's only certain teams are appreciating VAR, and it's going to get to a point where, look at the Sporting Lisbon goal. That was to UEFA's own end. Yeah. And you got that today. It shows VAR is very corruptible, and I'm sorry, it has to change. So it has to go back to the old ways, because you're going to kill the game. And if the game dies, then it's just
I think it's already killing it. I think it's already killing it slowly. Dermo, have you any mess? Actually, who do you want in the Champions League draw tomorrow, my man?
Whoever UEFA wants us to get, because I think that's going to be corrupt as well. So I'm not really having that much hope. I wouldn't mind AC Milan or Inter Milan. I wouldn't mind one of the Italian sides.
Why?
I just don't know. I just fancy them. I think every team is beatable in that draw. I said to you, Dave, I'm getting the 2019 vibes again, and I just think every team's beatable in that Champions League now. Man City probably get PSG. I mean, that will be the game probably in the round of 16. If not AC Milan, probably Dortmund as well. So I wouldn't mind one of the Italian sides or a German side. I just think, but I think we can get to the quarterfinals or semi-finals at least. I think we can get that far.
I'll be honest. I'll be over moon with a quarterfinal place. I don't really see us getting beyond there. I think, look, it might be possible that we can get a draw that maybe sort of suits us tomorrow. We can have all of our players back. We can be in a bit of form and get through. But I do think when it comes down to the real serious teams, that's when we will be highlighted and found out. But look, I do agree with you. I do think there are some 2019 shades to it.
Let's hope so.
Do we have a good enough team to do it this time round? I'm not so sure. We've got to remember that team was together for 5 years at that point. But look, Dermot, where can people find you, my man?
Yeah, they can find me on THFC till I die. We're on tomorrow at 11 for the Champions League draw and Newsbeat, and then we're on all this week with other bits and pieces. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. So, me and Ellie and Philip Brady's back now from his holiday and other bits and pieces. So, that's where you can find me.
Well, everybody, get over, check out THFC till I die. The link is here in the chat. So get over there and smash that subscribe button. Dermotron, big yourself up, brother. And look, we'll talk very soon.
Catch you soon, Dermot.
I'll probably pop on tomorrow night. So come on, you Spurs.
Make sure you let us know what you look. That's a given, but make sure you let us know what your thoughts are on the Champions League draw, whether you like it or not.
I will do. Good match. Cheers, and thanks for today, lads. Good shift. See you later.
Big up, Dermo. Thank you, my man. Thanks for your time, brother. See you soon.
See you soon.
Everybody, big up Dermotron. I love a bit of Dermo. Everybody get over, smash the subscribe button on THFC till I die. We got Moondog says never want to see Dyer them up and again. Yeah, thank God, Moondog. Thank God. If he's
He's
just
got a Moondog, you have much more of a special relationship, I would say, with Moonhead than anybody else. I mean, you've been finding yourself probably criticizing him as well, secretly wanting him to score, all the time. And he's just a letdown. Let's just be honest. He's let you down with all the bets. Now he's just letting you down just simply with Tottenham Hotspur and just simply with performances, Moondog. I mean, the guy, I think, has put you down more times than anybody else. So, Moondog, definitely time to give up on him for sure.
Yeah, Dyer's done the double P. I'm not talking about Paddy Power, Jack. I'm talking about, pounds and points. He's costing them pounds and points at this moment in time. And that can't wash. So, look, big yourself up, Moondog. And, look, we've got Forest to look forward to midweek. Hopefully we can get the job done there. But, Moondog, big yourself up, brother. Really appreciate the support. But, look, let's keep this moving. We've got 4 guests left to go. We've got Kyle Kuliseski, Vineyard. We've got Phil Dierbolical, we've got Mark New, and we've got the Kaufman as well. Let's get on Kuliseski, Vineyard. Let's see what he has to say. Kyle, how are you, my man?
I'm okay. Not happy after that performance, as we never seem to beat Liverpool, as Daigle said earlier. Thanks for stealing my catchphrase, Daigle. Liverpool. So Liverpool strikes again, and VAR fuck us over again.
Kyle, I've only been saying that for 2 years. Where have you been, my man?
Yeah, I thought it was Dark Sun G's actually originally even.
No?
We've only been saying Liverpool for the last 2-3 years, my man.
Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, they strike again. So make sure to put it on the fan cam video after I finish. Type Liverpool strike again. Yeah, because I'm going to see it.
But look, what's your thoughts on the performance this evening, my man? Many mixed reactions to it. Some happy with it, some very unhappy with it. Where do you stand? You don't like it? What did you think was bad about it?
Well, everyone knows Eric Dior, another diabolical performance from the twat again. I do not want to see him in the shirt again, because the previous managers are saying he can become
Diorable.
Well, it's diabolical, mate. So no, it's not what you just said. But Diabolical is going to sign a new contract, which is going to piss us all off. Some of the fans like him. I know Bobby K's, Big K's boy likes him. I know, and he just got engaged to his partner, so congrats. But I don't want to see him in a Spurs shirt again. Another shit performance.
Should he? What can Conte do, Kyle? He doesn't.
I just want to give everybody some latest Conte quotes, which is probably a little bit concerning. He was asked about the fans and the boos today, and he responded, "Everyone needs to understand the need for time and patience. Otherwise, you can lose the passion and enthusiasm, which is my fuel. If I have that, then it's okay. Otherwise, we will continue this season, and then we will see what happens at the end."
The fans booing was uncalled for. Then, Sim, I don't know who used the Real Tottenham TV Twitter account, tweeted saying that Conte has the right to be fuming about that. The fans booing. The fans booing. Yeah, the fans booing, uncalled for. I'm surprised we didn't hear any shouting today. We want Levy out, so we want Levy out. I'm surprised we haven't heard that since the Man United game last season when we lost 3-0 at home. That was the last time we heard it. But I'm surprised we haven't heard that since last year. We need to hear that.
I think the way, if I'm going to maybe interpret this, is that Conte is forced to play these players, right? He is forced to play Eric Dyer. He is forced to play a lot of these guys that are making these mistakes sort of every other game or every other few games, whatever it may be. And he doesn't have a lot of choices. So when maybe he feels the boos, even if they're not directed towards him, he sort of sees it as, I can't really do a whole lot with what they're doing on the pitch here. I'm going to continue to try to approach it as best I can, but perhaps he's sort of seeing it as even further deflating. He's already feeling deflated by seeing the players make the mistakes, but then by also being booed on top of it, as I think the players do. Maybe, I don't know, I don't know how I feel with booing sometimes. I do feel like it can be taken very, very far, especially as we've seen with certain players being booed to, being subbed off the pitch. Perhaps there is kind of a bit of a bad kind of vibe right now in the sort of in the stadium. I can't speak to it, but maybe we'll have some people who are in the stadium and can maybe kind of explain, the booing and Conte's reaction, whether it is an immature reaction or whether he kind of is maybe right to sort of be a bit, I would say, how would you say, demotivated? He seems demotivated by it.
Look, for me on this one, Jack, I'm pissed off with it. I'll be honest. And the reason why I say that is we haven't learned our lessons from Jose's time. I mean, you've seen what we've seen from Dyer today, we've seen for the last 3-4 years. And all Conte wants fans to understand is there's only so much I can get out of this. We're not the finished article. I need improvement, so I've been calling for it. But yet you guys continue to lambaste me and the way I'm doing things, rather than guys that have cost you for 3-4 years. He has said on multiple occasions, we need improvements. We still need more to do. We need a couple of windows. He's tried to explain it. But because we now think because we now think that I've seen it start to grow where people are like, oh, well, another manager can come in and get better. We said the same under Jose. We ended up with Nuno. And they were all the same people ranting, raving, and crying under Nuno as well. And we're going to commit the same mistakes here again. If this happens, honestly, we deserve it. We fucking deserve it. I'm pissed off. But sorry, Kyle, go on.
I don't understand why. Conte has the right to be annoyed about that. He's been saying that since he arrived. People need to be patient and understand it. Conte,
is it Conte, do you think, that's being booed, Kyle? Is it the players that's being booed? Is it a bit of both? Is it, how do you see it?
I think it's the players that are being booed. As I just said, Conte's not being booed. The players were booed off after we lost 3-0 to United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season, because the reason why they done that is because Lucas got subbed off at home to United when I think his number came up and the fans shouted to Nuno, "You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing." Lucas has had some memories with us. I don't know why. When we were 3-0 up against West Ham a couple of seasons ago, we're 3-0 up, and then what does Jose do? Takes off Son. Managers taking off the best players. We concede. Come on. Taking off the best players isn't good. Conte took off Son in the North London derby. We won 3-0 this year, and he wanted a golden boot. He wanted to score so he could beat Salah to it, but Conte had to take him off because he couldn't stay on the whole game. But 1-3-0, and then he should have made changes a bit earlier before whatever minute it was. But Kulu's came back, and that's the only thing that made me happy. Kulu's sexy is back. I'm wearing a shirt, and he was immense when he came off the bench. Assist Kane, the guy's a baller. People are saying he's not well class. Do one. Just get over it. He is a baller, and I heard we're gonna sign him permanently in I think January or something. I heard. So sign him permanently, and then we will win things. But with Dyer or Diabolical, I want him out. Get him out. He's quiet.
Yeah.
I think he's in a tough situation where he's going to have to bring Tanganga into the fold, or he's, like I said, this is where people don't realize he's stuck in a situation where either he brings Tanganga in or he has to persist with Dyer. I mean, he's already had Sanchez ruin him before. I think Sanchez would somehow be worse. That's how poor the options are, is that Dyer is still ultimately probably better than Sanchez, but that's how bad the Conte that's how it's tough for him. Like, he has nightmare decisions to be making right now. And I agree with you, Kyle. I don't want to see Dyer again, but unless he wants to bring Tanganga in, who really doesn't want to be here, and also he doesn't have much faith in either, and who's also made, let's say, game losing, mistakes under Conte in the past. He basically just has to continue with Eric Dyer. But KPV, give us, KPV, give us kind of your maybe your final thoughts on today's game, and also give us that Champions League team that you would rather play as well.
Okay, like just before I go, you mentioned Tanganga. Mourinho's one that gave him his Premier League debut, and that was against Liverpool. We lost 1-0, and Tanganga, I believe, was man of the match in that game. In this, then. And he doesn't want to be here. He wants to leave. But the game, second half performance, I thought we were brilliant. We were all over them. We won the second half 3-1, in my opinion. Second half, we won 3-1. We've now lost 2 home games. Newcastle, now these chickens. Liverpool struck again. Leeds, that was Conte's first home game in charge. Last season, we went 1-0 down and we went 2-1. It's probably going to happen again, but we need to turn up in the first half next Saturday against Leeds. Leeds, I think they're starting to come good. 2 wins, but we've got them. But Wednesday, we've got Forest. The draw tomorrow, I just don't want PSG because I don't think we've ever played them. If we get them, then it's going to be Lucas, Emerson Royale versus their Brazilian teammate Neymar. I know Richarlison's Brazilian as well, but no thanks. I'd rather have Dortmund because we have their number. Ronaldo scores against them every time. 2019 vibes. Dermot's getting 2019 vibes. I am. I want to go far. I know people don't, but now that the ginger from Sweden's back, I think we can go all the way. You can't play an English team until the quarters or the semis or the finals. But I'd take Dortmund or Benfica, the two, but not the bigger guns, because it could be PSG, Man City in the last 16, but I'd say Dortmund or Benfica for me. But the good news is Kulusevski's back. But bring on Wednesday, and Danny Kyriakou will be in the studio with Barry. Can't wait to speak to him. And it's Barry and Danny who let the dogs out. So
I love that.
I'm off to listen to it. And Wednesday we go again, Saturday, and then the big tournament begins.
Yeah, look, we just got to dust ourselves down and keep plugging it up, Kyle. But Kyle, big yourself up, my man, and we'll see you again very soon.
I can't hear you.
That's okay, KPV. We'll see you soon, my man. We're finishing off anyways.
I can't hear you guys.
Okay.
It's all right, KPV. It's all right, my man. We'll put a message in the private chat. You can see it there, my man. Big yourself up and make sure you come on and speak to us tomorrow with your reaction to the draw as well. Azad Hamid says Conte shows no element of flexible management, repetitive game plan, and team selection. Awful in-game choices and even worse game management. Look, I'm going to disagree here. We say it's a repetitive game plan and team selection. Now, name me one coach in this league, and we all want to play like Guardiola's team, like a prime club team. Do they change their tactics every single game? Do they change their formation every single game? Or do they concentrate on their plan and the way they want to play? That's what they do. So to get a manager to come in here and chop it and change it every week is admitting that our players aren't good enough to play any sort of system. Second of all, flexible management. We say that, but we ignore that Langley and Davies have been rotated this season. He's moved Langley in from the left into the middle and played Dyer out on the right. Dyer's also played in the middle. Emerson and Doherty have been changed up at times this year. Sessegnon and Perisic the same. Basuma and Skip have also seen minutes. Nearly everybody in this squad has seen minutes. So again, I'm going to say I disagree. All I see now is what I seen under Jose Mourinho. And guess what? We all said he was done. He was outdated, blah, blah, blah. We want to go on and play this modern way of football. We ended up with Nuno. We've got to take stock and ask yourself, why have we ended up with 3 defensive managers since Pochettino? Because the board know that that defense isn't good enough. They don't have the money to sort it out along with all the other issues we have. So they keep employing defensive managers to try and get the best out of these guys. Conte is not the problem at this football club. If we throw another manager under this bus, I'm going to go absolutely bloody ballistic. When are we going to learn? We all said Jose was outdated and done. But guess what? Newsflash. Tottenham Hotspur is still the only club on the guy's CV where he hasn't won a trophy. But he can go to a team like Roma where people said it was falling apart and still go and win a Europa Conference League while we go out of it. Now, is the problem the manager or the players that we keep persisting with at this football club? And ultimately, because they're so crap, everything keeps getting asked of these managers. Unfair things keep getting labelled of them. Unfair things keep getting asked of them. Now, what's going to happen at this football club is we're going to go down another period of sacking another manager, bringing in the next guy. And then we've got a squad then that resembles the past 4 regimes, plus whatever this guy brings on top. At some stage, we have to stop and do what Arsenal and Man United have done. And whether that's behind a guy that we want here, which is, I don't think it's going to happen, or a guy you don't want, which I think is more than likely going to happen, we're going to have to sit there and like it or lump it. So let's stop putting the pressure on this guy and asking for unrealistic things. Arteta doesn't change his game plan every week at Arsenal, and neither does Ten Hag is in work in progress. That's different. But managers and teams you want us to play like, they play the same way every single week.
I just don't really find myself what I even brought up earlier there, Assad. Can you really criticize Conte if he finds himself where he basically can't even drop Dyer? His tactical choices or his game choices are playing Sanchez, Dyer, or Tanganga. Your choice. And if you think he should be doing a lot better with those choices available to him, then be my guest. Certainly, then let's find a manager that can do a lot better with those players, because there are a lot of managers that have come through this door, a lot of managers that come through this club and have continued to be let down by those same guys, and also have continued to be let down in a similar way by this defense. And I'm pretty sure we would have conceded that same goal that we conceded today if we were playing just as high of a line. And even actually, when you look at it, we did have a high line in that moment when we actually conceded that goal. So it just shows again that I feel like Conte, once he has better players available to him, once he doesn't have the same moonheads that he does that maybe previous managers have had, then you can maybe start criticizing him, I think, a bit deeper. But I think you're welcome to criticize certain maybe decisions he makes, certain maybe game tactical things, whatnot. But to basically say that he is the problem at this stage, to say that he's the one that needs to go first and foremost, I think then we're finding ourselves where then we're basically saying that Eric Dyer and Ben Davies are the ones that we should be keeping around instead of Conte. And I think once you're saying that, honestly, I just have to disagree with you.
But here's the thing, Jack. We're saying, oh, he's too predictable. But then we want to play like teams that play the same way week in, week out. They literally couldn't give a shit what the opposition do. They play their game plan. So it's repetitive. But then we have a go at Conte.
I also think we go with a different
game plan and call it repetitive. It's madness.
I just feel like we also go with very different personnel all the time. I think he makes a lot of rotations. He makes a lot of switch ups. I think he's also gone with different shapes. He's gone with the 3-5-2 like people have asked for. He's gone with the 3-4-3 when he can. And he also hasn't been able to go to the 3-4-3 as much as he like. I just feel like I've said this before, Assad. I think there are I think all of his limbs have been tied behind his back at certain stages, but that's just how I feel about it, really. I just don't think we can criticize him based on what he has available to him. He just really does not have a lot available to him at this moment. And also, again, like I said, if we're going to give up Conte, then we're basically putting our faith in Dyer and Davies to get us out of this. And I just, again, that's where you want to put your allegiance. That's fine.
ring me up when they get a trophy. I'll never get that phone call because it's never going to fucking happen. I just think it's absolutely madness. I really do. I really do. And then there's some people are saying they're angry at Conte for calling out the fans for booing. How dare he turn on the fans? But let's be realistic about it. Fans turned on him long before he turned on us. You know?
Yeah. Let's bring on.
I need a minute, Jack. I need a minute. My head is gone after that. Seeing them quotes, it's gone.
Well, Dave, maybe help me out on the fan show here. We're bringing on Phil. I'm going to see what he has to say. Phil.
Fucking hell. Yeah, that super chat. Wow.
Well, not even that. There's been some quotes that have come out today, I guess, with Conte being very sort of bothered by the boos that were at halftime, I guess is what's come out.
Yeah, that's wound me up as well as Dave. Dave is wound up about it. I mean, look at the squad he's got to choose from at the minute with his with the defence. He's doing all he can with that squad he's got at the minute. He's had one summer transfer window. He's been a year into the job, and we're criticising him, judging him far too early. And I just think it's just unfair on the manager. To be honest, I think it's the players that they just ain't good enough.
Yeah,
and the mistakes are costly for us every single time. I mean, we can play good football, but ultimately, if we're going to make big mistakes in big games, it's going to cost us sooner or later.
And I feel like it would cost the same manager. I think they're going to make the same mistakes under a different manager, is how I feel, Phil. But how do you think? Do you think Conte could have set up differently today? Do you see a way to be devil's advocate, or do you kind of find yourself where it's not really that complicated? It really was just him being let down by the individual mistakes today, or is there something he could have done maybe differently today?
No, I think. Well, I predicted he'd set up with a 3-5-2, which it did look like at the time. Perisic surprised me up front. To be fair, he worked hard, created chances. But yeah, I mean, who else do you play? Lucas isn't fit. Kulu's just coming back. You know, what have you got to choose from?
Yeah.
You know. I just think he is doing a good job at the minute with the team he's got. You know, we're fourth. I think
he would have played Kulu if Kulu were really available for 90 minutes. He would have played him. I mean, he's probably desperate to have some sort of player of Kulu's quality in the team. Yeah. And if he wasn't available for 90 minutes, he wasn't available for 90 minutes.
If he was 100% fit, he would have played him today, or 100%. He would have.
It wouldn't make sense not to play him, right?
No. It would have been a 3-4-3 as well, with Perisic on the left and Kulu on the right with Kane. And that's how it would have been set up. And I think the game would have been different if we played that 3-4-3, because we would have been on the front foot straight away.
I agree. Yeah. Did we play all that bad in the first half, do you feel like, Phil, though? Or was it, because this is the other thing, too, that maybe the fan base is a bit split on today. A lot of people thought we played absolutely dreadful in the first half. I mean, maybe we've been used to some pretty dreadful first halves of recent.
There's a lot to choose from.
It wasn't nearly as bad for me. It wasn't nearly as bad as the other ones, I must say.
No, I thought we played all right. I thought we played better once we went goal down. Sort of shook us up a bit, and like always in the first half, you know, I don't know. It just seems to be, if we go a goal down, it just wakes us up. But we should be starting from minute one. And that's the only criticism I've got of Conte at the minute, is that these first half performances need to change. We can't keep going a goal down and then trying to get it back in the second half or later on in the first half. You just can't do it.
Here's the thing, though, Phil.
It's happening too many times. To be
brutally honest, when we go back and look at our first half performances, especially over the last while, we've started off well. But there's nothing we can do when a bonehead makes a mistake and it takes the complete momentum out of everything. And then that has a knock-on effect for the rest of the half. So is it actually Conte's tactics, or is it just simple bonehead idiots that are just deflating everything we're trying to do?
It's nothing to do with his tactics whatsoever. I think it's madness that people think that he's wanting us to go out in that first half and not perform. It's absolute madness. It's the players that aren't good enough, and they keep making the same mistake every single week. And if we're going to win trophies and we're going to be challenging for trophies, then we need to get these players out of our club. We need to aim higher. And, we can't aim for mediocrity. Do you know what I mean? We've got to aim higher for this club. We've it's been too many years since we've had a trophy. We need to change this mentality.
But are we then just taking 5-10 steps backwards by then basically throwing Conte under the bus here? Because I'll be honest, it sort of feels like we sort of have suggested the players have. I think the players have just with theirs just sheer incompetence and maybe just poor performances are sort of throwing Conte under a bit. But perhaps the fans, obviously, with how split it's starting to get here, are turning on Conte as well.
Yeah.
With the trophies that you just mentioned being desperate for, Phil, do you find yourself maybe going backwards if we got rid of Conte then?
Listen, the only time I'll be judging Conte is until another couple of windows. So I don't think he's got the team he wants yet. He hasn't been given the proper money to spend, and I don't think he's got the players that he's identifying at the minute. So as soon as that happens and he gets the team he wants, and then we ain't performing still, then I'll be criticising him. But until then, I'll be backing him until that happens. So the only thing is with the transfer window with Levy is Conte needs to get his contract sorted. He needs to commit to this club. If Levy's going to give him the money to spend, he's got to commit to us.
Yeah,
that is true. If Levy's going to give him the money, he's going to be gone in 6 months. Then,
especially in January, where he already is going to hate and grit his teeth the whole time, probably with the money he's going to have to spend. Let's be honest. Another thing too, though, just quickly on January, because let's talk about maybe players that played today. I think we can always talk about players we're going to bring in, at any stage, and we obviously need players we need to bring in, but players that maybe we need to get rid of. Phil, how do you feel about getting rid of players in January? I think it's nearly as difficult as bringing players in. But I'm going to honestly think we have to find a way to do it where it comes to Sanchez. I think Sanchez, again, a game where he isn't trusted or isn't used at all. Now with Dyer's mistakes here, it feels like we are now realizing we have 3 center backs that Conte basically doesn't want to use. He doesn't want to use Sanchez. He probably doesn't want to use Dyer, but he's basically forced to use Dyer. And then Tanganga, he doesn't want to use either. So that's 3 center backs that he isn't using / doesn't want to use. There's also maybe that conversation about Levy's going to have to realize he might have to take a loss on some of these players, or loan them out or whatever it may be too.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do.
Not as much spending the money, it's also losing money maybe with players that you might be selling or getting rid of. I don't think you can. I with the point I'm trying to make here, I don't know if you can bring in 2 center backs when you blatantly have 3 other center backs that you're just not using. Like, it just doesn't work that way. You have
just
to
send them out on loan. Just send them. Just send them out on loan.
He's going to have to swallow the pill and just get rid of them in January.
Yeah, send them out on loan and then just get rid of them in a transfer sale. At the end of the season in the summer. That's what I would do. But we do obviously we need to replace the players that we're going to get rid of, and that's going to be difficult in a month's transfer window. So unless they start doing the work now. Then I'm sure they've got players on their list that they want. So let's hope we bring the players in that he wants.
It's got to be. It's got to be. But I do agree with you. I do think. Look, we have to try and commit Conte. If not, January transfer window is going to go absolutely horribly wrong. And I wouldn't expect any business to be done if there's no breakthrough on the Conte contract situation, to be honest with you, because look, I do think club are looking for commitment out of Conte, but I also don't blame the club if they're not going to commit more funds onto Conte if they know they have to start a new regime in the summer. But
Yeah.
I think ultimately isn't on the board to try and satisfy this guy and commit him. So we'll wait and see what happens. Look, but positives from today. Any positives? Perisic, maybe Bentancur, Basuma.
Yeah, it's good. Well, it's good to see Kulu back. I think we need him badly at the minute. We haven't got any creativity. As soon as he come on, we've got an assist. We just need his quality on the pitch. Other positives. The second half again, we showed fight. Created a lot of chances, and I thought a draw would have been a fair result today.
Yeah,
I thought we played well enough to get a draw at least.
It would have been a 1-1 draw. I think ultimately, had it not been for that goal, it would have been a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, so there is positives. I don't think we were playing boring football. I thought we were the better side in the second half and majority of the first half. That's how I saw it. So yeah, we just need to get this result at the back of our heads now and just go forward onto the next game.
Forest away in the cup. Hopefully we can stay in that, Phil.
There'll be a lot of changes in that.
Yeah, we might get to see Gill, might get to see what Jess Spence has to offer. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Phil, who do you want in that Champions League draw tomorrow morning?
Probably one of the Italian teams, Inter Milan or AC Milan. We seem to do well against Inter when we play them. I seem to remember the Gareth Bale game, and he scored a hat-trick and absolutely smashed Maicon all over the pitch. So, yeah, I'd love to be drawn against one of the Italian teams, if I'm honest.
Interesting. That's an interesting call. That's one of the better answers I've heard from these kind of Champions League ones, because I kind of feel it where a lot of people just want anybody because it's nice to be in the Champions League, but a nice little tactical answer from yourself there. Phil, I enjoy that. What I kind of don't want is really any of the teams that basically press teams for a living.
Yeah.
I don't want the Bayerns. I don't want the German teams that are very good at pressing sides, because then I think it's gonna be an ugly one. I think
the Inter Milan or AC Milan game would play into our hands. I think we play similar sort of football. So I think if we get a full strength squad playing against them, I think we could do them over the two legs.
I love that. And look, that's the key at the end of the day. We do have to remember whoever we get, it's not being played until February. So, we will have hopefully a lot of our players back, and hopefully we'll have our best players available, and we will look so much different.
Yeah, and hopefully we've got a different looking squad, with the transfers coming in and maybe some players going out. So let's fingers crossed.
Yeah. I wouldn't hold your breath, honestly. I'm telling you, if Conte doesn't sign a new contract, forget the January transfer window.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that. If he goes, then I don't know where we go from here.
Not very far. Steps backwards, I think, from there.
That's what upsets me, because we're very quick to say, someone else will come in and do better, blah, 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 blah. But we've said this twice now already.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be third time lucky, or because it's all well and good putting names out there, but it doesn't mean Daniel Levy's going to bring them in here.
But who's available, Dave? Who's available manager-wise? If he goes, who's available to come in?
Sam Allardyce is out there.
You know what I mean? So it's just, I think we're playing a very dangerous game. The fans are at the minute. Because I said this about a month ago. I said he could walk. If the fans are going to piss him off, he could walk. So let's just get behind him, man. Just get behind him and just get behind the team. Let's not boo the manager. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Look, calling him out halfway during the season. The guy's only here a year. He's brought us back Champions League football. Still sitting in fourth right now as we speak, which is Champions League football again. I mean, with the injuries we've had, I think it's absolutely crazy. And
I actually think we've overachieved with the squad that we've got. I think we've overachieved, especially where we are at the minute in the league. And getting through the group. the way we did. So I
Considering
think
the
it's doing
injuries
better
and-
than what the squad is at the minute.
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't know, my man. But look, Phil, hopefully we can be the draw can be kind to us tomorrow. But look, please come on the fan show tomorrow evening and tell us your thoughts on the draw, my man.
Yeah, will do, mate. Will do. Thanks for having us on.
No, always, Phil. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Nice one, lads.
All right, catch you,
Come
brother.
on, Spurs. Come on.
Come on, you Spurs. Pick
Be
up, Phil.
positive, guys. Come on. See you later.
Really see you, my man. Really appreciate that from Phil. I love him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I like Phil.
Yes, he has some good insights. But look, we're going to keep this moving, Mark.
2 more to go. 2 more to go, everybody. Mark New, there we are. Flat cap and all.
Mark,
boys, hey, sorry, just get the,
you're all
mic
good.
on.
Work away. You're all good.
Get him on. Oh, yeah. Guys, say, how you doing?
Well, are we all set
Is
up?
the mic on? Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Brilliant.
How are you?
Brilliant.
Is that okay?
Keep it together. We're trying to. You need to piece us together here,
man.
Mark. We need some sampling
that's
together. We're falling apart here. We're falling apart.
Man.
Let's
Mate.
be honest.
Yeah.
So, take us through it then, Mark. I mean, what happened?
Yeah.
And, I'm going to ask you the first question that we've been asking a lot of people. The big divisive thing on today is maybe how Conte set up the team. Maybe he could have done something better is what some people are saying. And also as well, another sort of divisive thing, I think, from sort of the fan base today has been whether we really played that poorly in the first half. Some people think we didn't play nearly as poorly as people thought we did. Others are saying it was, dreadful like other games. Where do you kind of stand on that first half? Where do you kind of stand on how Conte set us up to begin with?
Well, I think as we get, I think as regards so I think as regards to the first half, a lot of it you think, are you watching like the same games against Marseille, against Lisbon? First half we don't turn up. Second half the players are there. Whether it's either in terms of the players conserving their energy because they know they haven't got enough strength for 2 halves. They only play 1 half, and I think as Conte said, he's told the players. It's not. I think a lot of it's obviously down to the players. Who they're either tired, they're saving themselves for the World Cup. I think people are saying, but I mean, it's as the injuries as well, because obviously, regards to the injuries, we're missing Romero at the back. Romero at the back, we wouldn't have given away those goals. Had Romero at the back been there, we would have been solid. Richie coming off the bench, we would have banged them in. We would have. I think we would have either banged them in, or we would have at the very least stretched them. And the moment we stretched them, the space for Harry, the space for other guys moving forwards, there would have been a whole lot more chance. Obviously, in fairness, we did obviously miss those moving forward. The VAR, I think, as people have said. I think in terms of VAR, you're never going to get all of them, but at least check. You're not.
Did you think we deserved a check? We deserved a check at some stage. At least a check is all I was asking for. Yeah,
exactly. The very least a check. And the thing is, I'm always confused with this. We got this massive big screen at the stadium. What's it showing? Now, even if the VAR says we're not going to show it in slow-mo, the guy on the stadium should say, you know what? 2 fingers to you, mate. We're going to show on slow-mo continuously for the next 5 minutes. We're going to show the pen for Cess, the pen for Harry. We're going to show the one where Lucas gets kicked in the face. Yeah. They should be showing that for 5 minutes. It's not up to the VAR, not up to the ref, but the moment they're showing continuously on slow-mo, that it makes it so embarrassing for the ref, and the ref then he can't look away. BBC, Sky, whoever, they're never going to say it wasn't a Stonewall penalty. Well, 2 fingers up to you, mate. When they've got it there in front of the stadium in slow-mo in this massive big screen. I mean, the thing is, Yeah,
But you know what, man? It
Yeah,
really
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. It really doesn't matter what we do with these, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because there's no accountability. None of them ever come out and say, "Yeah, I
Exactly.
got it wrong." You know, they hide
yeah.
behind the referee that they roll out on Sky Sports or BT Sports on a Monday.
Exactly. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and they
that's
go,
it.
"Oh, they got it wrong," but no one ever
Yeah,
comes out and holds their hands up. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
apologies to the club for affecting their points.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter what we do. Embarrass them all you want. They're embarrassed anyway. Embarrassed week
Yeah.
in, week out, but they still get away with it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we'll say it's true. As how to put it, it's true. It's true. It's true with that to a certain extent. I'm always in mind. I know it's probably going to date me. And at JFK assassination, they got the famous movie. They got the famous movie. The famous movie. Zabruda movie. You know, the Oliver Stone movie of the JFK assassination. They show the headshot, and the head goes forward and back. Or no, it's just a forward and back. Says it back and to the left. And they show, but they show this. But the thing is, the idea is they show with the movie to the jury. They show the screenshot continuously for like 5 minutes, forward and back, forward and back. So for my mind, the guy who's on this stadium, on the guys on the stadium, on the slow-mo, as good as you are with the flags, we want this massive big screen to show forward and back. Lucas, the head, forward and back, and you show it there. And all of a sudden, when the crowd is screaming at the ref, look at the screen, look at the screen, look at the screen. And Harry's then got to take the referee and say, mate, grab it. Got to literally like, grab the ref's shirt and say, mate, look the fuck at that screen, you son of a bitch. Look at that effing screen. And when it's up at this big screen again and again in slow-mo, they can't look away. They just need to physically put it up there on the big screen. So I mean, yeah.
Honestly, I would love to see it happen. It's just not going to make a difference.
Yeah,
There's
fair
no
enough, mate.
accountability.
True.
You can put it up on the big screen all you want. I mean, it's played 100 times after the game. The referees see it, but they don't care. It doesn't.
It's true. It's true.
It doesn't embarrass them.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, second half performance a lot better. Do you think we're going to be taking more of our chances?
I think exactly. In terms of that, we deserve the very least to draw. We hit the post. The crossbar was like 4 times. I mean, it was just. I mean, I think in terms of those, sometimes the ball's going to roll in, some of the ball's going to roll out. But 4 big chances. It was just getting really, really close.
There was a few comments during the watch along. I do remember after it hit the post. I think after Longlay's miss as well. I think somebody kind of just said, "Lads, it's really just not our night." I sort of felt that way when it maybe came to the finishing department. I think when it came to the finishing department, I'm kind of like, just not our night, getting unlucky here. But then that's where you kind of find yourself, Mark, where you're like, you can get away with a 1-1, but you go out with a 2-1 because of the bonehead decision or not bonehead decision, the bonehead mistake that Dyer makes there. And that's where it becomes a bit heartbreaking. Right?
It's true.
You probably look at it. Spurs had a lot of chances that they sort of squandered that they could have done better with, but ultimately would have then probably ended 1-1 when you really look at the scale of the chances between the two sides. So it's what kind of makes, I think, those mistakes probably even more kind of a letdown or even more of a heartbreak. Where do you kind of find yourself maybe with what Conte had to choose from maybe today? I know you were with me on the Friday fan show. Did you feel like Kulusevski, if he was 100% fit, if he was 100% available, would he have started him, do you think? It feels like the fact that he brought him on in the second half maybe shows that Kulusevski, right, was only really available for 30 minutes or whatever he was available for. I'm not sure, though. What are your thoughts on maybe Conte's subs and all that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as regards with Kulo, the moment he came on, it wasn't just the creativity. There was a boost. You could see the players said all of a sudden, we've got the players that say their heads were down, they're going to miss it. I mean, the players in the first half, even if they don't miss it, someone else is going to miss it. But when Kulu came on, there was this spark. You really felt it. The players came alive. The fans came alive. You really believed. When Kulu was there in that team, the difference he made was massive. It was a massive difference with Kulu. The thing that I was disappointed, second half, where's Gil? You really want Gil Messi to come on. What I'd have loved to see, Gil Messi attack one flank, Spence to attack the other flank. I mean, even he's not going to play them in the whole of the second half. The last 15 minutes, mate, we're 2-1 down. Liverpool was so vulnerable. They were there for the taking. They really were. They were vulnerable. Their heads were down. We're knocking them in. They were just literally hanging on at the end. And those last, even to say for like 10 minutes, mate, come on, throw on Gil and throw on Spence. And I mean, Emerson, okay, he's okay at the back. You know, there's things there. But for the last 10 minutes, be more aggressive. He's just really got to throw on Gil, throw on Spence. Yeah. We could have hammered them. We could have absolutely.
Kulusevski was just setting people up. Even one stage, he was furious. I think that I didn't see who it was at the back post. It could have been Højbjerg. I think it was Højbjerg, right? He was furious that Højbjerg didn't even make a run. You know, at one stage. I mean, he was. I mean, it felt like if he was available for 90 minutes, he probably would have created 2 or 3 goal opportunities for us that we definitely would have probably at least put one of them in the back of the net. And it sort of maybe shows then, Mark, right? With Kulu, a Kulu that's not even 100%, with what he was able to create, it does show how much we've been missing him and how much of a loss he's been this season for us.
Oh, it's true.
Instant
it's
impact.
True. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, exactly. I think it's true. And I think the other thing in terms of the players, there was a big win in Marseille, but I think the players were physically and emotionally shattered. And in terms of that, when it comes to like the end of the game, when you really want to push hard, you need some fresh legs to come off the bench. So I'm still disappointed why I didn't play Gil. The last 10, 15 minutes, just whatever happens, stick on Gil. I think as people said with Spence, he wasn't. People saying with Spence, he wasn't even on the bench. And I mean that I mean, you just think the last 15 minutes with Emerson, okay, he's going to hold up at the back, but you know you've really just got to play to win. These games you can play defensive, try and hang on, but you've got to attack. You've got to play for the win. You've got to be brave, mate. You've got to just be brave. It's in the Tottenham DNA. We get things when we're brave. You're going to hang on and try and go for the 2-2, but you put on some fresh young legs. You put on those, and you really got to attack. It was just.
The one thing I'll definitely criticize Conte for, those fresh young legs that everybody's looking for, is Jed Spence, those fresh young legs, but we'll never probably be able to see them. Probably never be able to see them. But
it's true.
Mark, any kind of final maybe comments you didn't get to say, and also talk to us maybe for Champions League. Give us your Champions League team that you want to play on the way out.
In terms of the Champions League, I will take on anyone if we get a good window. A good window changes everything. I don't matter. You can put PSG in there, put in the attack. I think in terms of the draw, I think as Phil said, the last one, the Italians would be absolutely made. Conte loves his pasta. He loves his spaghetti. The fans would be there with the Italian flags. They would love it. And I think it would be a huge boost for Conte to play an Italian team. And also in terms of the setup, the formation, he would love it. But especially with a big window. And I think in terms of things that people have said, I've seen happening online. And so Malinowski, I think in terms of Malinowski, he is really getting closer and closer. There's people saying that the deal is done and it's just really going to sign it in January. Love to see Malinowski there. Emerson, was it Dumfries? There's talk that there may be a possible swap deal, which I'd absolutely love that. I don't know. I think as people obviously saying number one target, Bastoni. If the deal is there, if the ship has sailed, get your money down, Levy. get Bastoni. We just got to get Bastoni. And if we can get Bastoni to our club, I think with those 3 players will be a massive change.
All
If he
right.
wants to even push the boat out, I get Maddison, 4 players maybe stretching it for a short window in January, but who knows? In terms of Maddison with Leicester, they're going nowhere. And if he's just got to get somewhere to play in Champions League, people are talking about the 2019 vibes. And if we get a big window, get an Italian club in February, you know what? Other players will think, you know what? This is like the season is like the first half, okay, they know we're not going to turn up. But second half of the season, with a big window, some big loans, you
Clean
know
slate.
what? Conte is coming. Conte is
love it.
coming. In Conte we trust.
Come on,
you
Mark.
Spurs.
Come on,
you
Mark.
Tottenham. Come on, boys. Harris Army. We're there. We're cooking. Come on.
Come
Big
on,
up,
Mark.
Mark.
Absolutely.
Big
love
yourself
that.
up,
Good
brother.
man, Mark.
Cheers,
You're a good
guys.
I really appreciate your time this evening, my man. You've cheered me up a little, in fairness. You have cheered
Thanks,
me up
man.
a little.
So, yeah.
So I appreciate that, my man. And look, we'll see you again soon. Feel free to come
Cheers,
on tomorrow
guys.
evening and share your thoughts on the Champions League drama.
Have to, mate. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Really
Catch
good
you,
show.
Mark.
A massive show, boys. Cheers for
Really
that.
I
appreciate
appreciate
you as
your
always,
time and your
Mark.
effort, my man. You've
Appreciate
cheered
you,
me
man.
up. I appreciate it.
Cheers,
brother.
man.
Big
Good man,
yourself
Mark.
up. Big yourself up. Love a bit of Mark.
He's
do.
a
I
good
love
man. He's a good man. I really
He
like
is.
Mark. He's a good man.
Big
Alrighty.
up. Legend. But look, we're down to the last guest.
Good one to end
of
on.
the
Good last
evening.
guy. Yeah.
Let's get him on. And I will say, can you smell what the cow is brewing? As you can
Get him
tell,
in here.
10.5 hours later, there's not much punch left in my voice. Didn't do it as good as I did at the start of the day. But Benji, how are you keeping, my man?
Good man, Benji.
Yeah, it's
Long
not great,
time.
is it? It's not great, but we're having a good day. We're going
Good to see you, though, Ben. It's been a long time, and so or at least we can, have you back here, and under not the best of circumstances, like you said, though. But good to have you back, my man.
Always good to be back. Always good to be back. And yeah, it's a shame we're not here celebrating a victory, but of course, as per usual, I'm going to blame the 3 weaklings at this football club: Eric Dyer, Emerson Royale, Ben Davis, and of course Ryan Sessegnon.
That's a true Sessegnon, and he's escaping a lot of criticism tonight.
I was obviously a lot of people said, "Oh, we can't cross the ball. Who the fuck's in charge of crossing the ball?" Ryan Sessegnon.
Are you sure it's not Conte's fault, Ben?
Ryan Sessegnon is the only. He's escaping so much criticism. He is shit. He's just as bad as Emerson, in my opinion. He can't defend, and Emerson can't go forward. It's like Dumb and Dumber, but a lot worse. But it's a real problem that we seem to have gone back to that original thing. We needed 4 players in the summer: a centre back, a right wing back, a centre midfielder. We didn't sign any of those, and now we're paying for it. We've got too many injuries. And it goes back to the fact, unless we sign these players, we're going to end up with Ben Davis, who has been shit for 9 years. Maybe a bit too harsh on him. He's a very average player. He's not going to be in top Premier League sides. The top 7 at most he's going to be in. He's been at Tottenham for 9 years. Name another club in the top 6. He would start week in, week out for 9 years. He wouldn't.
Testimonial as well. Like how it's not really these days as well, Ben. Like testimonials don't come around as often as I think they used to. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they're as common as they used to be. So it's also like it feels like a player to get a testimonial at a club like Tottenham Hotspur. You would think they would be like a Ledley King. You would think they would be like a Robbie Keane. You think they would be here. I think you know exactly where I'm going with this.
They had their heyday, and they weren't even a part of the starting 11 in the heyday, let alone now. It's gone. It's finished. Get them out. Gone. I want them out. I'm sick of them. Sick of all of them.
What did you make of my comment earlier then, Ben, where I feel like Levy's like we just maybe probably have to come, and he's going to have to come to terms with, of course, that he's going to have to bite the bullet on a lot of maybe stuff he doesn't like doing in January because of the mistakes that he didn't, or the mistakes he made in the summer that you just brought up, right? And do you feel like another thing that maybe we might forget is that while he also needs to bring players in, which he certainly hates, another thing that he hates to do, which is also getting rid of players, because I think this January, in order to bring in 2 center backs and a right wing back, which is, I think, at least that's what Dave and I want, is 2 center backs and a right wing back. We're going to have to get rid of, I think, at least 2 center backs in order to do that, because right now Conte has 3 center backs he basically doesn't want to use: Tanganga, Sanchez, and Moon Boots. He probably doesn't want to use, and it's just, I think it's Daniel Levy. It's certainly a time where he's going to be gritting his teeth, is basically what I said this January. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on what I just said? Maybe about also having to get rid of players, not even just bringing players in,
Imagine thinking you can get £25 million credits of the realm for fucking Harry Winks. You're not getting it. I would take a Kit Kat for him. I would take Fredo for Eric. You get them out the door. And the greatest manager in the history of the Premier League, Sir Alex Ferguson, changed his team every season.
Yeah.
1 out, 1 in. 1 out, 1 in. This is Social Club FC. We keep people for the vibe. We keep people for the vibes, the entertainment, the cricket. We don't keep them for their footballing ability. And it's what me and a lot of the guys on Tottenham on Tour always say. We are a football club that puts everything else bar football first. If we're not succeeding on the pitch, we're a laughing stock. We're a laughing stock. We are.
Is it also too you said Social Club FC? Is it also is it just too sentimental with also how we've maybe dealt with these players? Like even Sanchez, I think we all know, Ben, the club is sentimental towards Ben Davies and Eric Dyer. But I think Sanchez is an odd one. Like, why have they been sentimental towards Sanchez? The guy is the most expensive defender before Romero the club had ever bought. Like, there's no reason to be sentimental to a guy who cost you 50 million, like, as well.
I'd take 15 million from him, get him out the door.
But that's an odd one to be sentimental for, whereas I feel like Dyer and Davies, they're
not complaining.
It's being greedy. We want too much money for get them out the door. Everton wanted to buy Harry Winks in the summer, and they offered 15 million. We want 25. Who's going to give you 25 for Harry Winks? No one. No one. It's just like we asking for too much money. Get them out the door if they're not wanted. I know people want Tanganga to do well because he's a Tottenham boy, but he's never going to do well in a top team. He's not good on the ball, and that is number one of a centre back. Be good on the ball, be able to progress the ball, and be able to defend. You need to be out. Hugo Lloris, love Hugo Lloris, but in this system, you need to be able to progress the ball, and his distribution is shocking. It's shocking. We need to get. This is the system we want to play. We've now got a director of football whose vision is either a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-3. He wants to play the system that his teams played in Italy under Juventus and etc. etc. We need to follow this man's image, and we need to get players that suit his system. We can't hang on to players. Our squad is made up of players of different system. Pochettino era, Mourinho era. Nuno era. We've not got a cohesive squad of players. We don't have a vision for the team because we got so many. We've got to follow that.
And this is the point, Ben. I mean, if we want, which is what us fans want, which is trophies. If you go back down the record books, bar Chelsea is an anomaly. Most other clubs that have won things or have had a successful period of winning things, that squad is fully their managers. It resembles their manager on and off the pitch. But back to what we were saying about likes of Sanchez, Dyer, Davies. The reason why we keep them around here is because they don't complain. At other clubs, they get complaints, and the Germans say, I don't want to listen to that every day. Just get him gone, he's a problem. But because they don't complain, they go under the radar. And the reason
on the coach's good side, I think they are a bit teachers' pets as well.
The reason why they don't complain, Jack, is because once they leave Tottenham, the wages are going to decline because it's not a team that are better than Tottenham that have more money to give them that are coming in for them. They're on the decline. That's why they don't complain.
We saw what's been happening to Harry Winks as a good example of maybe the moment he leaves Tottenham Hotspur, a team like Sampdoria doesn't even rate him. So they are basically holding on to those wages, and they're holding on to dear life to whatever contract they may have. So it's maybe a good point that Dave raises there about basically, appeasing the owners appeasing the whoever the manager may be, because it's their own survival for their own wages and their own career. And it's a sad thing to think about, but it does sort of make sense. If they want to be at the top level and be paid as a top level footballer, they're going to have to find a way to survive, because we all know, Ben, they're not top level footballers, and they're just getting away with being in a top level team, not as top level footballers.
You're getting away with this daylight robbery. We are the only team with a director of football that doesn't always sign his players. We have an owner who is a control freak. Director of football is in charge of buying the players. Why the fuck is the owner buying Jed Spence? I want Jed Spence to do well. I want him to do well. I think he's going to be a great talent going forward. But if Paratici has not bought him, and they've not got him early on the window, he's not going to play. Because Conte wants his players at the start. He wants his players the first day. He wants to be the 9 a.m. sharp whenever they start. He took 8 weeks.
They didn't even give Spence a chance, because they'd done the deal after we went out to Korea. It's like, you didn't even give the chance. We get a chance.
Only because they were haggling over 2-3 million quid.
That's true. Actually, they had the chance to get him in earlier than that, and
haggling over 3 million quid. Just bloody pay it. It's nothing for a club like Tottenham Hotspur, who's like £100 million for 2 days from the NFL. By the way, to hire the club shop, £100 million for 2 days, and we're haggling over 3 million quid. It's unacceptable.
That's the thing. If they wanted to give the kid a chance, they could have paid that extra couple of million and give him a chance to go out to Korea.
They didn't give him.
Brilliant experience for the kid. Would have been brilliant experience for him. Got Conte tonight, but he's just like, all right, I've got my cohesive squad. Maybe next year will be it. He's not tactically ready. He's never played at the top level. And Blue Mountains put another. Jack Clark. Who the fuck signed Jack Clark? No, where is he now? I don't know. We don't have a vision for the football club, because no matter what direction we're going, a curveball. Oh, this year you're getting Harry Winks. You're getting this player. You've not chosen the player. The manager doesn't want the player, but you're getting him anyway, and you've got to deal with it. This is what Pochettino said. It's what Pochettino said. I am not the manager. I am the coach, because I'm given players I don't want. That's why we didn't sign anyone for 2 years, because instead of proper quality players, we were given Clinton NGs, and we were in a title challenge 1 year. Who do we sign? Luis Zaha and Ryan Nelson. We wanted Bruno Fernandes, and we signed Gedson Fernandes. We wanted Jack Grealish for 25 million quid. We offer £2.5 million and Josh Onama. It's unacceptable. It is a laughing stock that we don't have a cohesive vision. I'm happy we've got Paratici. I rate Paratici, but he needs to be able to build his team, build his recruitment structure. And look at Arsenal. They spent £400 million in 2 years.
On a Lego man.
And their team's playing well. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that spending money and buying players the manager wants will work? Who would have thought, except for every single fucker on the YouTube community and everyone on the street?
The Spence one is a good point. The Spence one is a really good point, I think, when it does come to sort of the teams and the clubs just sort of, pinchiness because I sort of feel like I'm finding myself here, Ben, where when it comes to Spence, I'm like, I feel bad for Spence and I feel bad for Conte, because they don't really seem to want each other. Maybe Spence never really wanted to play for Conte, and maybe Conte really never wanted to play with Spence. And then you just find yourself like, well, who does that maybe then lead to? It leads to Daniel Levy at the end of the day, who's the guy that brought him in the first place. And then you kind of just feel bad for both. But it's a good point you raised there. I hadn't thought about it that way, actually.
I mean, it's just I just hope he's given the tools. I know people are going to say, okay, maybe if he doesn't sign the contract, he's not going to get backed. This is a manager. I know there's a couple of people that don't watch football. This is a man that has made the worst Italy team you've ever seen a contender for a major championship. He took an Inter club who were absolutely
Inter were dreadful before he took them over.
They were dreadful. Took them to the title in 2 years. 9 years of consecutive title wins started because of his Juventus team. taking Chelsea from 10th to the title in a year. Yes, they had quality players, but they still added a couple and they took them to. This is a manager that has won everything wherever he's gone. If he leaves this club without winning a title, is Mourinho and Conte wrong?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
And Spurs fans are the only fans to label him washed up. Spurs fans are. It's really sad. We of all people, we of all football fans, to label him as outdated, to label him as washed up, and things like that.
Bring back Christian Gross. Bring back Christian Gross and the fucking.
We just want Ozzy. I think we just
bring back Nuno. Bring back Nuno. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Conte is the solution. He just needs to be backed. You back a world-class manager with the players he needs. Get him a Dumfries. It's not like we have to spend stupid money. I think people are like in this realm of fantasy that we've got to spend 300 foot. We don't. We need to buy a Dumfries. Buy a Dumfries. Buy a proper centre-back like an Ndicka or if we can get a Skriniar. Skriniar would be a brilliant centre-back for us for 5 years. These are not astronomical. It's not like we're spending 100 million. We're spending buy the players that the manager needs, and he can build a cohesive squad because it's unacceptable. And then we'll do well.
Here's the thing, though, Ben. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, Conte's just a checkbook manager. He needs to spend money to do things his way." I mean, yeah, it's kind of the way football's always worked. You kind of spend the money on the manager to do things his way. So, he does need the checkbook and he does need money to back him to do things his way because, newsflash, that's the reason why we hired him, to do things his way. So, I mean, I just think it's absolutely insane. But look, Ben, what's coming up on the coffee company?
And then also Tottenham on tour we put in there as well. Yeah.
It's the usual place. We are your home of being nice to each other. Drinking coffee. We got some good ideas coming up. The Christmas coffee is coming back very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled to the Christmas coffee. It's coffee on tour. Our coffee in celebration of our partnership with Tottenham on tour is still around. It's very, very tasty. And we're just being nice. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. we will also be doing the watch along on Tottenham on tour.
Doing one tomorrow.
Everyone's doing a watch along, but it's a soft reopening. Tottenham on tour is back. We've had a couple of issues over the summer with Mr. Daigle, Mr. Ireland. We've all been very busy. I've been in Canada. Kiriaku's been wherever Kiriaku has been. But we are officially back tomorrow on Tottenham on tour for the draw of the Champions League. We've got a load of new ideas. We're going to be doing daily content, hopefully, and we're going to be doing loads of streams. And as usual, we're bringing our own Tottenham on tour flair. Daigle is going to be doing that a lot. I'm going to be screaming about coffee. Kiriaku is going to be saying, "Fuck off, mate." Ireland is going to be relaxing people with his awesome voice. And it's just going to be hilarious as usual. But get over to the coffee company at 8 the Broadway, Woodford Green. Drink some coffee. I'm very good at making coffee if you've never tried my coffee. So please visit us. And it should be fun. So get over there. If you're in the stream tomorrow, we look forward to seeing you, and hopefully we can be best friends. That's all we want, really. Let's all be nice.
I'll definitely vouch for the coffee anyway, for sure. I absolutely really enjoy it. It is very, very tasty. But Ben, big yourself up, my man, and we'll speak soon. Come on,
Ben. And as always, we got to do the catchphrase because we're back. If you smell what the cough is brewing.
Good man. Good man, Ben.
Benji, I know you're busy. I know you're busy weekdays and stuff like that. But if you're around tomorrow evening and you're free, feel free to pop on the fan show and let us know your reaction to the Champions League drama, man.
Brilliant stuff. I'll try and head up.
All right. Good man, Ben. Really appreciate your patience as well, Ben. Thanks for popping on, brother. Thanks for finishing us off. Big up, Ben.
See you, my man.
Catch you,
everybody, big up, Ben. Do get over there and check out the coffee company. And if
the closer.
There's anyone that's thinking about getting down, trust me, it's some of the nicest coffee you will have. It's very,
man
very
knows his
tasty,
shit.
especially for those that like coffee, Jack.
He knows his shit, Dave. That's all you need to say is this guy, he could basically probably talk to you and, tell you everything that you probably didn't know, that you probably need to know actually about coffee. In fact, even sometimes I like to think, with the way I kind of look at coffee, that I probably know, a thing or two. But believe me, Ben will sit down with you and he'll set you straight. And this guy, I would say just his coffee channel, just good vibes over there. It looks like also the thumbnails are even nice and warm and comfortable and look like they want to give you a hug. So just head on over there and see Ben. Also, thanks Ben as well, also for finishing us off, my man, the closer. Good, good work.
Yeah,
good work.
Yeah, big up. But look, guys, we're going to call an end to the day. 11 hours today. Absolutely incredible effort from all you guys tuning in with us from the very first thing earlier on till now. I really appreciate all your support all day long, from pre-match build up to the watch along to the fan show. Absolutely incredible. Look, not the result we wanted, but we move on. We've got to get a result against Forest. Got to get a result against Leeds. What's coming up tomorrow? We will be doing a Champions League show. I have Kuva and Sean on with me for that. So feel free to tune in for a Champions League show for the draw. And we'll also be doing Twitter reacts. And then we also got the fan show tomorrow night. So feel free to get on that and come on and have your say. But we're going to end it there. A massive thank you to the panel earlier on, Jack and Sean for the watch along, and all the guests for the post-match fan show. In Conte we trust. Come on, you Spurs. I'll see you tomorrow for the Champions League draw.
See you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.